I won't make the joke because I don't want people to get upset with me. But alas, early on, we will not be importing wool. We will be importing gold because why not? We'll just get the money. We just import money. Literally just have money get transferred from them to us. And it's a win-win. They'll run out of it eventually and we'll have to actually do like real trade. But for the first couple of years, you can do whatever you want. We have pops with needs. We'll figure it out later. Unprofitable buildings. It'll work out. For reforms, we're going to go ahead and try to go with autocracy to get that crown power up as quickly as humanly possible. And we really are going to lean heavily into the burghers because obviously we've got a lot of them compared to nobility especially. And we are going to collect a lot of money from them. Building costs and plutocracy, yes please. Trade capacity, capital economy, yes please. Production efficiency, capital economy, yes please. Are you guys picking up on a pattern here? Now a big one here is this treasury rights tax efficiency. Even though it lets us tax them less, it lets us tax everybody else more efficiently, as well as have lower interest rate, and innovative is good. Obviously that's a lot of stuff, but they're going to be very loyal. We'll be able to get lots of taxes from them. Diplo, we're going to try to be friends with Brabant early on. They're our nearest neighbor and they're pretty dang good. So we're going to try to be friends with them. And then we're going to make sure we're investing all of our trade into just bringing in gold. Your best bet for buildings early on, I think for basically any nation, is to just spam out these guys. You're going to want to get as many marketplaces as possible because that extra marketplace gives you market capacity, trade capacity, and that trade capacity you can then use to snowball. So think of it like you're getting the ball rolling on your economy early on. I would kind of describe the first 50 to 100 years of EU5 kind of like Victoria, where it's like you're spamming out buildings, you're building up your economy. Once you get closer to the start date of EU4, you're able to really kind of lean into that like conquering and blobbing, because early on things are going to be pretty dang slow. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Uh-oh, no more gold. Feels bad. So you can use these suggested trades if you want. In my opinion, they're kind of dookie. I'm not really a fan of them. And if you want, you can just let the AI just handle it. But I like to do it myself and try to at least maximize a little bit of profit. We'll spend a little bit on that. And then we're actually going to do something that I'm going to call a pro gamer move. So you can see we're going to hover over here. You can see masonry is affecting the price by an extra 0.5% increase. So if we were to have a surplus of masonry in our trade node or a stockpile, then we can build for cheaper. And buildings for cheaper means building faster, which means economy go up and line go up, which means more money. And at the end of the day, that's all we really want. So we're going to trade for some masonry. We'll import it from Bordeaux since it's nice and cheap down there. And then the other one, we're going to start working on that wool like we had talked about, because we want to start getting that economic snowball rolling very quickly. And you can see we're going to make a lot of profit off of that. So that sounds good to me. You see our economy is already on the move. And you can see we're selling a bit of fine cloth because we do have quite a bit that we are actually producing. You see if we go to the hog, we are producing the Tailors Guild. We're going to keep on going on that. But again, we're mostly prioritizing these marketplaces because those are what's going to allow us to snowball fast. There we go. Let's pick up friends with these guys. Keep on working on the wool. And we've got our first parliament. Now, if we want to, we could go to war with these guys. It looks like we are slightly weaker than them, but we could probably make that happen. Taking Utrecht would be really nice because it allows us to unite the rest of this area over here, or this province, and I think we should do that. Plus, Utrecht has 32,000 people in it, and this one has 35, so I think we're going to push for that. So the way that you get like CBs whenever you're in the HRE is you want to call a parliament, pick one that's got a pretty high amount. Let's go with promote.
I just realized, by the way, yesterday when I was live, I didn't have my mic set up, and I just activated that now. I deactivated my webcam because I'm eating dinner, and I don't like being on camera while I eat. Just don't. But that's fine. So let's
for Utrecht.
What the fuck is this?
See, click that there, and boom, easy enough, right? And we're going to declare this war. It says we're slightly weaker than them. But yeah, I'm not worried about it. Let's go ahead and select that and then declare the war. Let's raise the levies. Hi-ho, hi-ho. It's off to war we go. So one cool thing is that actually all of a character's stats affect war stuff. So you can see siege ability is admin. So if we really wanted to push for this siege,
I'm probably gonna watch something on my TV in the background, but that's part of why I turned off
come out victorious. A couple thousand men died, but you know,
off the camera just because I don't want copyright or whatever. Because you know how TV is really annoying with copyright on YouTube.
Integrating North Holland while the other is increasing control. Kind of a double whammy. Yep. And we will continue to build our marketplaces to improve our standing
Hollywood,
in the trade war
boys,
going on
right.
between us.
What a bunch of
the
fucking
flatness.
schmucks.
Because as you can see, our trade advantage is quickly catching up to them. We are actually making way more in profit, but we have double their capacity. So we're going to make sure that we make this happen. Don't worry about that. The Dutch will rule the trade node. There's no doubt about it. Lots of wool coming in here, lots of wool, and then we're going to start increasing our production of stuff from that wool, so it will work. The Age of Renaissance. So I don't know, I'm sure that a meta will come out over time.
Oh my god.
But I'm going to go ahead and stick with the admin focus. I think that like there's just some good stuff.
So I'm still looking forward to actually being able to play tall,
or rather
in
proximity cost, those sorts of things. They're all very useful, so we're going to go with that. So after we take that,
in EU5,
we will get advances that otherwise we wouldn't have access to, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, we've got the Black Death right around the corner, so we're going to have to start working on some hospitals. We don't want to have our entire population wiped out by it, so let's push for that. Hospitals are good in general, just increases life expectancy and disease resistance. So, you know, if we can help 10%, speaking of, Rotterdam gets smallpox, you'll have that. A couple thousand men dying, you know, it is what it is. Oh, wow, couple more thousand men have died. That's pretty disgusting. So I just lost like 30,000 pops just from smallpox. Okay. Banking is Chioggia. So there we go. We'll get it eventually. You can see here, if we have laborers, oftentimes you can do lots of useful things with them with here. Mason, for example, produces lots of masonry. Obviously, they
honestly, I might just watch the actual video and react to that,
kind of, if you want,
rather than play the game at the same time.
Dedicate some provinces.
I'll put the video in full screen,
and that can be quite useful. You see
rather than react in the background.
For example, over here we have woods, but over here we do not. So in the hog, we can actually build a lumber mill, which is super useful because lumber mills just produce so much lumber, obviously, and lumber is very important for lots of construction. So you can see that how things you can kind of specialize your nation, and we're going to do that. We're going to lean really heavily into a couple of specific things that are going to be bringing us lots of monies. Oh, so this is kind of annoying. We do have a personal union with Hainaut or however it's pronounced. There is kind of a downside to these because you can see these guys, for some reason, are have 92 great power score, where we only have 42. I don't know how that works. It doesn't actually make any sense to me. But what they're doing is they are trying to bribe us, 1 ducat apparently, to establish seniority over us. And I don't actually think there's a way to fix that. I think that it's kind of a bug. Hopefully that gets resolved because, yeah, I don't want to just be a junior partner in a PU with no say in how that goes, which is how it goes right now. I do not have a say. Brabant is asking us to become a vassal. What is this game, bro? Come on now. Ain't no way, bro. We're like the same size, same power. AI just like insulting me to my face. There you go. We are now a junior partner in the Hainautian Union.
That was fucking dumb.
I don't know,
never accept that,
way,
dude.
We
Come on.
continue our efforts to try to build hospitals to prepare for the inevitable Black Death that is going to be coming before too long. We are also on the
I bet a good strategy for this would be to
get involved.
essentially build a bunch of
because
medicine producing buildings, so that when all the countries buy quote unquote buy medicaments or procure medicaments on the Black Death screen, you probably could like make a lot of money for your economy by like selling medicine for the Black Death.
They're going to be upset with me. Whatever, I don't care. But we need that money big time. That extra taxes will,
because you're obviously going to lose pops anyway. So like
additional taxes. And apparently Amersfoort has measles. So there's a couple more thousand people dying, and I don't think there's anything I can really do about it. One more hospital in Utrecht, and then we'll probably try to build one in Middlesbrough down here for my subject. But this Dordrecht one is going to be obviously the priority because my people come before my subjects people. Everybody knows that. And we're almost done with our core over here, which is very good. And there it is, the Black Death in Jannebeck, which obviously is going to be, you know, out here in the Golden Horde. I don't care. I don't care about them at all, actually. So as the Black Death starts to spread, obviously we need to start considering how we can go about stuff. Now, part of this, the situation is actually kind of cool. It allows you to do things to help prevent getting it, but also prevent it spreading within your country. or something that you can do to, you know, try to minimize or mitigate some of the losses. We've got quite a bit of time, you know, probably about another year or so until it reaches us, so we can prepare for that. And another thing we need to be considering is the food within our market. Now, our market has good food. We probably want to build granaries in order to make sure that we are possessing as much food as humanly possible, because food, if you don't know, is important. And if you don't have food, you don't have people that are going to be, you know, working the fields and all that, or working in the factories, and then your economy isn't going up. And if line isn't going up, well, that's a problem. Oh, but the Black Death is spreading. It's only going to be a couple more months. We're going to isolate our country. So basically, this allows you to slow down how things go. That's kind of how that works. And once it does eventually arrive, these modifiers will change, or these options rather, and we'll figure out from there. Oh my goodness. Yep, Black Death is on the way. But the sooner we can get it over with, the, you know, hopefully better we'll be off. So we've got about 250,000 people. Keep that number in mind. Let's go ahead and present some scapegoats. Blame people for the death, because that will help us out with stability, because stability is important. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad, but we'll see. Numbers are definitely starting to go down in terms of our people. But obviously, we just want to hopefully get it over with as quickly as possible. Up over 20,000 people done now. It looks like it's slowly going away. We've lost about 1/5 of our population. It's going to continue at least for a little bit longer while it still peters out here. But it's honestly hasn't been as extreme as I've seen in the past. Yeah, it definitely looks like we're past the worst of it. And it's starting to peter out. So we're looking okay, honestly. So we only lost about 1/5 of our population during the Black Death. Those numbers, I mean, it's kind of callous to say, but yeah, those numbers are actually very acceptable, considering when I first started, like when I got this early access back in like March, you'd lose like 50%. Like, it was not uncommon to lose like half of your population. So numbers have been tweaked. Continue the marketplaces, of course. But now we can actually start talking about, you know, making some money. Scriptoriums seem to be a pretty good one. We actually already have one here. You see, the price for books is very, very high. There is a deficit because it is a need for our people. We could import them, but that's not really going to be worth it. It's going to cost us money because they are expensive. And paper is fairly balanced. So I think that what we are going to do is start working on some scriptoriums, make some money. And again, if we need paper, we can make that because we have lumber. We can make the paper, and then we make it into books, and then we sell the books, and we make money. Gonna be a minute before we get any of these institutions, so I guess we're just kind of chilling on the research. I don't know if we actually have any more that we can do. Institution growth. I probably should have got that one early on. You can see here that production efficiency is affected directly by the number of buildings in here. So as we build up this second scriptorium here, in a few days, this number will go up by 1% per. So if you have 10 of them, you get 10% boost to your production efficiency. So you get more just because it's kind of like, you know, think of it like you got a bunch of factories kind of working together to create something. So that's kind of how that works. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there are very few things in this game that is just like click button, get reward. That is definitely not a theme that you will see much in EU5. Very much, most things are delayed. It's you set it up, you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and over time...
That's kind of how the states are in EU4, though, like... Because at least with the when you give them the
production efficiency is going
the rewards or whatever,
3,
like
so this one is 0.8
or the
because of
benefits
age,
or whatever.
So the
like you don't get like
you get more out of that province, so it allows
you don't get it right away, just like,
which I think is pretty cool. So
you know,
you can see here we need dyes, paper, and lumber for these scriptoriums that we are building.
What do these resources look like? Hold on, let's see. So that one's a bunch of colors and piles. Paper is like this, and wood.
So if you have 10 of them, you get 10% boost to your production efficiency. So you get more just because it's kind of like, you know, think of it like you got a bunch of factories kind of working together to create something. So that's kind of how that works. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there are very few things in this game that is just like click button, get reward. That is definitely not a theme that you will see much in EU5. Very much, most things are delayed. It's you set it up, you wait, then you wait, and you wait, and over time, your benefits will start to really scale up. Now that we've got a few scriptoriums here, you can see that production efficiency is going up Levels 3 is, so this one is 0.8 per because of the age. So the production efficiency basically just means you get more out of that province. So it allows you to kind of encourage.
I don't know why he's not conquering anything yet. I mean, I know that like you probably have to build up your country, but like
for these scriptoriums that we are building. So
I guess he's playing in the HRE, right? So it's like
mostly built up.
kind of like difficult to do that early on.
And now that we've got those guys cranking on all cylinders, we're going to take a look at a paper and see what we can do to get more of that. So you can see here, it says we won't really get a whole lot of money from them. And that is because what paper is made of from fiber pulp, apparently. So what we need is wood.
There's a ton of resources in the EU4.
Hey, the Black Death is
or
over.
EU5.
Very good. Well, we can actually produce fiber pulp from here. It takes livestock, wood, and tools, but we could probably make that happen, I think. If you don't have to import it, you shouldn't, you know what I mean? Ooh, but it is pretty cheap on the market, huh? Let's import some, see if maybe that can help us out. We'll take a little bit of that and put it into that. See if importing just a little bit would be better than building the buildings. So in the meantime, let's also get a couple of tools guilds up because we definitely need to be getting the tools. We're going to be using them for a lot of stuff. And I am going to start working on some lumber mills because getting that lumber up and moving in our like trade node, it's going to definitely pay itself off. Look at that. I mean, 0.82, I think that is per year. I actually don't know exactly how the math works out on that. But yeah, the lumber will be good in the long term. Obviously, it's going to take up to 5,000 pops because these buildings, the labor buildings, are 1,000 pops per. I think it's totally going to be worth it in the long term. Also going to work on some sheep farms over here in this Leiden province because the wool from that is going to double whammy. It gives us food, but it also gives us, you know, wool to process into cloth. Let's annex these boys. No need to keep them independent. That land would better serve me because it is, you know, 20,000 pops. Not bad. Let's build some fiber crop farms. Start really pushing for that paper. The scriptoriums are going to be big money. And at the same time, we're building these sheep farms down here to make sure that we are maximizing the amount of money that we are able to get from cloth. All right. We have integrated Mittelberg. So let's see what we've got down here. Actually, quite a bit. Love that. 100 Years War is actually like much more even in the betas that I had before this initial release. There was quite a bit of a variety in what you would see. Like you'd see French nobles just completely toppling the government. You would see the French completely dominating England. You would see the King of England getting overthrown by like a peasant revolt, and obviously that is kind of interesting to see.
What is he building?
Now it seems like
well, I want to look at these buildings real quick. Pause this and look at these buildings. We got scriptorium, lumber mill, fiber crop farms, tools guild, sheep farms, mason, weaponsmith. That could be profitable if you built that for a country. Paper makers also may be profitable. Spinners, potters guild, brewery. Probably goes less profitable as we go down.
Straightforward. A little more historical, I suppose. As we start working with a tool, obviously you're going to see the major thing we're going to be looking for with this one is going to be blacksmiths, which will be iron. So we're going to need more iron. So let's take a look at our trade and see if maybe we can trade for some iron. That would be nice. We'll cut down on some of our exports. Take a look at Brugge and see what iron is costing on the market there. We can import from Paris, and we will do that. And right off the rip, it's going to give us a nice little income boost because, you know, we're going to be creating our stuff for quite a bit cheaper. More taxes, please. Oh, 17 a month is nutty. Also need to be keeping an eye on our RGOs. I mean, that's a pretty solid. DICE is a good RGO. Another thing to be looking at is going to be roads. Because obviously we want to make sure that we are getting our keeping our control as quality as possible, but might be worth waiting for an estate agenda to push that a little bit, or a parliament rather. Ooh, the Red Turban Rebellion.
I feel like you should be focusing really more on building ports, cool. Right? Because it's the Netherlands, so it's not really like.
Telling me, how am I supposed to know anything about that?
Maybe he hasn't unlocked that yet.
More spinners, so we can get more fine cloth, because that's money. Luckily, we've got a lot.
Money.
We're gonna need more wool.
Scraps those
Looks
money.
like Brabant has entered the fray over here. Yeah, I actually don't understand how this works. Like, this number makes 0 sense. There's no way that these two guys are both like 150, 160 higher than me in the Great Powers list. That's just not true. Because they're a duchy, and these guys are a duchy. They get 50 more than me. Like, I can't become a duchy. I'm not allowed to. You see here, cannot become duchy because we are part of the HRE. I don't know. This seems kind of arbitrary. Not a fan of that one.
I wonder which one was changed for release. What he mentioned right there, like
randomly
down on here. I wonder if it was the part that you can't become a duchy in the HRE, or if it was
nothing happens that I can really see. It just happens.
If it was
kind of annoying. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
15 scriptoriums. We are
because I feel like the higher rank of government should
in Holland, huh?
Should be
but apparently
the higher rank of government should probably be the one that can
disbanded, but we are still a minor
get the bonus. But I think you should be able to upgrade your government rank in the HRE. You know,
guy. A rebellious faction, huh? Let's go ahead and just go joint rule. I don't know, man. I don't know what the way to go about that is, but I don't want the unrest.
Van Horn.
Profits, and we don't want to interfere with profits, you know. Lots of lumber, though. We love that. My great power score is dropping even more. So, sounds good.
Van Horn.
Seems pretty arbitrary. I don't know. Like, in my mind, I'm doing totally fine. Everything is going well. But the game is telling me that we are spiraling out of control and we're going to die. And not just die, but we're going to die and we're going to be losers, which I refuse to accept that premise. All this importing of masonry is finally starting to have a good positive toll on the economy. Building up nice and cheap.
I feel like you should just focus on building his building materials if you have anything you can.
Losing loyalty, and I
like
do not know why they are.
Lumber or
even have to deal with some rebels.
Clay. I think you could build brick
market expansion
makers. I think.
Trade
I don't know when you unlock that, but I know that
trade capacity means more money.
That is a building in the game. I'm pretty sure.
On some charcoal as well. We're going to turn lumber into charcoal, charcoal into iron, and that is going to help us continue the snowball.
Yeah, I think I saw it on there. Hold on.
Start working on some charcoal as well.
I think he already can build it. Oh, maybe he is doing that. Maybe that's why he's building the charcoal thing.
Charcoal into iron, and that is going to help us continue the snowball that we were working on here. Well, we've got
maybe he's working on the production chain for everything. Sometimes I don't realize how many different resources you have to go into one different thing, because I haven't played any of it yet, so yeah.
Unfortunate, but you know.
I'm not gonna criticize his gameplay. I just know that I might have gone about it a different way, but then again, I just lost an EU4.
Well, livestock is produced in Amsterdam. Let's go ahead and spend some labors in Amsterdam.
I'm gonna pause the video, guys. I'm gonna play some music while I'm AFK. I'm gonna take a quick shower because I basically just slept from like the time I went to bed at like 4 in the morning after editing all my videos, and woke up just a bit ago at 4 in the afternoon. So give me a second and I'm gonna hop off mic. I'm gonna play some music in the background, or maybe I'll just let the video play and then rewind to here. So I'll just leave it like right there. I'll leave my mouse there and then I'll go AFK. But yeah, I'm gonna go and take a shower real quick. Be right back, guys.
Obviously, we want to continue to expand the economy, but at some point we're gonna need to embrace professional armies. Sooner is better than later, and then we can start rushing down armories and use that to build up some regulars that we can then use to consolidate our region. We also want to start working towards centralization. So I think in our next parliament, we're probably going to look to swap out one of these. Let me see here. Probably traditional distribution. That hurts crown power as well. Yeah, we definitely want to change our distribution of power law. Looks like communal lands from the clergy, or from the commoners, is a thing as well. So let's go ahead and see. Can we remove that? Oh yeah, we can remove that. So let's just get rid of that. That's gonna hurt their loyalty, but it will free up that value. Will not be nearly as fast to move towards decentralization, because you can see here decentralization is it's fine, but centralization gives you a ton of crown power and proximity costs, which will allow us to have higher control. We also are pushing towards a traditional economy. We definitely want to push more towards a capital economy. Looks like first come, first serve employment is kind of one of the big ones. So if we were to go into our economy here and go to most profitable, it's going to cost 10 more stability, but we'll switch over to most profitable first, which instead of 10 towards traditional, it goes 10 towards capital, which we definitely want that. Capital economy will give us buildings cost, which is a big one, plus production efficiency. More food, but that's okay. We'll be able to incorporate. We'll be able to buy food. Wow. Every single estate just got really upset because my senior partner passed a policy. Okay, man, that seems a little steep right there, considering the fact that that literally takes like absolute like a decade to recover from. I don't know if I support that idea. I'm almost certainly gonna have a civil war now. We'll see how things go with that. Oh, we're getting there. We are getting there. Sooner is definitely better, but obviously we can't be going like -30 stability. That seems silly. So we're gonna switch over to favor the wealthy. It makes our burgers happier. Burgers eat more food, but it gives us plutocracy, which we definitely want that. The crown power is also a good choice, but the estates, I don't know, man. Both of these are pretty good. We're gonna go with favor the wealthy though, since we make most of our money from the burgers anyways. Okay, we are going to embrace professional armies now. We are basically done. Well, no, we're not basically done, but we're gonna go ahead and stop worrying about this research because we have unlocked professional armies research, which is going to be over here. Namely, we are looking for right here, armory, which is an armory building, which will allow us to get monthly manpower, which is going to be big. And then the other one is going to be handgunners and then heavy cavalrymen. Those are going to be kind of the major ones. There's a couple of other pretty solid ones like army morale, of course, and then recovery speed, initiative. We're going to start working towards all of that stuff. But we're saving up our money so we can get those armories off the ground here. We do want to continue to invest, make sure that we are maximizing the money that we are making in the meantime. But it's right now, saving is definitely going to be kind of one of the major ones for us. Burgers are super upset with me. I think I'm just going to have to buy their loyalty. Otherwise, we're going to be 100% getting rebels. Same with these guys. It absolutely hurts so bad, but it certainly beats getting rebels. And this Alkmaar or whatever is rural, so they produce more RGOs. We definitely want to be getting the fish from there. It's going to be good for the market. Let's import some livestock from Paris. That should help us out a bit as well. The people need the meat. Livestock is very good for food. The goal for now is going to be to get to work on getting these gunsmith buildings as well as armory buildings. Once we get a few gunsmiths and handgunners unlocked, we're going to recruit a bunch of them, like 6, 8, maybe 1,000. And then we're going to take over this state here of Holland, rather of Gelderland. And then that is going to give us quite a good little bit of land, especially over here. These two provinces are locations rather are both wheat, and wheat is very good. I think it's 10 food per 8 food, so it's the same as livestock, so it's super good for food. They're also both rural, whereas this one may not be rural forever because of polders and all that stuff. And Arnhem is also a really good province or location or whatever you want to call it, because even if I wanted to attack these guys right now, we wouldn't be able to because Brabant doesn't want to help. So now as we push towards capital economy, plutocracy, though aristocracy is still definitely the main move there, but centralization is hopefully the move moving forward. We're going to work on that. And then capital economy. Capital economy is the big one. And here we go. Armories. Those are going to be a big one. A very, very big one. So we're going to build probably, I don't know. 4 is probably plenty, honestly. Want to make sure we're saving up our money. They do cost money to maintain, so we don't want to go too overboard with them. States building stupid buildings. We're going to get rid of that. We will probably spam out the gunsmiths, though. That's going to be a big one. We basically want to control the gun trade in Western Europe. That's going to be the main goal for this portion. Get all the guns, because that makes it cheaper to maintain our armies, and then makes it cheaper to wage war on our enemies. But now you can see here we're gaining quite a bit of manpower. It might seem like a low amount if you're used to EU4, which, you know, if you're watching this, you're probably used to EU4. But 25 per month is not nothing. It definitely will be plenty, considering the fact that, you know, regulars inflict crazy casualties on like the layperson, the peasant levy. So we're going to see if we can go ahead and snag that CB on these boys, specifically for this province here. We're going to try to go for it, but we're going to wait. Slightly weaker than them. We can win this war. We would like to, but I'm not going to do it until I can absolutely dominate them, which I want some regulars for. Once we get regulars in the army, it's go time. Like, it's basically, it's going to be Jover for them. Get a couple of cavalry. They'll be, you know, in the fray. A cool thing in EU5 is that every stat matters. So you can see here, this guy is a goal oriented, so he moves faster. He's got 72 mil, which is great. It affects army movement speed even further, discipline and combat speed. But take a look at that. Morale is boosted by your Diplo skill. Admin affects logistics and frontage. How cool is that? Very nice change. Now that we have them, we will build them, and we will build a lot of them. In fact, the goal is going to be essentially to build all of them. And now we will let those build up, save up more money, and then we're going to rush out a few of those regiments whenever we get them. This will be done at the end of next year, or the end of this year, and then we'll be good. Now, the second army, which I don't think I can rename, is going to become the handgunner army, because we are going to recruit a few of them. I'm going to shoot for 3. We obviously are on a bit of a time crunch here. Maybe we'll take out 1 lone.
Let me I want to change the resolution on this.
The sooner we get to war,
so I'm going to change it on my monitor.
And this might not look
and
like
then
much, but I
on EU4 we're going to change it down to because I want to play a bit of EU4 while I watch
6
this.
or 7 to 1 in terms of
but
strength.
When I would try to
this is like 4,000.
When I tried to
4,000 levies plus the levies on top of
there
them.
we go. Cool.
So we're gonna go ahead and declare this.
When I try and launch EU4 with like
much of a war. I think
and I had it windowed, it wouldn't
these numbers, they actually outnumber us.
It wouldn't run, but, right?
It says we will win.
So let me change that to picture in picture.
Look at that. Look at those losses.
Change that scene on OBS.
Losses like 3 to 1, 4 to 1. Yeah, not sustainable for them. So the first portion of the war is basically just going to be us running around headhunting armies like that and just making sure we are inflicting maximum casualties on them. Eventually, though, they will give up. It's like, that's exactly how it works. And I guess we might as well rival them while we're at war. Kind of a weird thing, but I guess that's how we'll do it. So
I might play a bit of Victory.
I don't know. Depopulating the countrysides of these places, and yeah, I'm not worried about it. Literally not worried about it at all. And now we will start to separate piece people out because it has been at least 1 year. That's the rule. We will make these guys basically pay up. That's going to be the goal. I think I'm probably going to vassalize these guys, and then I'll annex this state. That is what I think I'm going to do for this war. These guys are going to become our vassal, as I said. And we might as well collect some money from them. Why not?
Okay, cool.
Nice color. Nice color. There we go. Get these guys out of there.
Let me launch a game
now. It's just 1v1, and it should be nice and easy. Well, they got cleaves as well, but I think we'll be able to piece them out pretty quickly as well. So again, losses, unsustainable, very sustainable, especially considering how much actual manpower we have still. Cleaves, it may actually be worth vassalizing them as well. I'm tempted. I'm definitely tempted. I don't know, man. That's actually quite a bit of AE, or whatever they call it now. So I think we'll just piece them out for money. That sounds more appropriate. This is what we will take. A coalition will not form. We'll also take all of their money. And just like that, we grow. And we have perfect borders over here too. Looks good. Now, luckily for us, they're basically all our culture, which is awesome. And then religion, obviously, it's all our religion as well. Gravel roads is tempting. 20% cost is quite big because gravel roads they're expensive. Maximizing proximity. Yes, we definitely want to do this. Let's go ahead and do just that. But that, my friends, is why you rush armories. Professional armies is very strong. Think of it like getting Tech 4 first in EU4, right? Like it's all about maximizing your early punching power. Lets you do some stuff where you can kind of take on like a 3 or a 4v1 like we just did. Remember to turn off army maintenance and all that after the war. Very helpful. And now the control over here is going to be complete dog water for a while until we get it cored up, which is kind of what you would expect. It's semi-autonomous. It's recently conquered. But it'll go up and then it'll be more like these blue and green areas eventually. Food productivity is the big one though. These 3 provinces over here produce a lot of food. And you'll
I think we're going to play as some random
over here, we're probably going to
country
a couple of these. And we're going to be working on windmills, which increase
I was launching,
food production, especially wheat.
I'm launching
the RGO is wheat, so it will produce a lot of wheat.
Right now.
Great way to make a lot of money and a lot of food early on. So Cologne is like pulling us into their market. We definitely do not want that. We want to deny their market access. That is going to ensure that Brugge is big and powerful. This is so expensive, but I think we really do have to do it if we want to start working towards getting aristocracy, or rather our centralization. We really need to start pushing for that. That extra crown power and proximity cost is just going to be so helpful. We've got money. If we need to buy these guys a little bit of loyalty, it's very expensive, but we can if we need to. Man, these boys.
I have chat pulled up on my phone, guys.
I gotta figure something out.
I'll be in there.
They're still significantly more powerful than me, so I think it's honestly just like that plus 50. Oh, goody! It did that thing again. Yeah, I gotta say it. They gotta change it. I hate this. I hate this. These things are being passed. It has nothing to do. Like I do not have a choice in how it goes, and my estates are getting really angry, and I'm going to have rebels because of it. Oh wow, Brabant just gave me a lot of money. Like a lot of money. That's kind of crazy. Pays to have good friends, I guess. Grand Palace. Well, I think we're gonna have to do it. Yeah, these guys are just like absolutely locked down. I think I'm gonna have a civil war, and like I said,
honestly, I might just play a random character.
No say in, because I happen to be in the HRE, and
so we'll do earliest start date.
I don't know, man. Let's see if I can pay them off one more time and avoid it. But it looks
play
like
as any ruler.
End up having the rebels. We keep getting these stability events that are making the AI more like.
Maybe I'll just play EU4. I don't know. I have the DLCs for it. I bought the DLC expansion thing, whatever you want to call it. The subscription for like a month or like a little bit. I don't know how long I had it for, but
so we'll see.
Basically, while I was waiting for EU5 to come out,
these events are actually pretty repetitive as well. I've gotten this same DLCs one like 50 times, and I have to choose to either lose stability and legitimacy or lose estate satisfaction, which clearly I can't afford to lose, so I just keep losing stability like every 6 months. Finally, we need to see if we can get these guys happy with us. It goes up quite a bit quicker when you have Senate going on, which we definitely want to. Hey, it's 1400. Pretty cool. Looks like we might be able to get it gone. Yeah, we're almost done integrating the land over here, so control is going to be going up quite a bit as we get those cores finished up. So slowly but surely, but that's kind of the way this game goes. I think Zoomers really kind of want that like click button get reward, and that literally just like does not exist in EU5.
Zoomers.
We've got the Hussites. So not sure where exactly. Oh, there they are. Yep, that's it. Very cool. I don't know. I guess they probably don't show up a whole lot because they're mostly just like in these couple of areas. Yeah. Okay, man. That's cool. Patrol slowly but surely creeping up. That's the way it'll go. Baltic grain, huh? Okay. Oh my goodness, they both have 9 out of 11 RGOs already. That's crazy. We are going to be making so much grain. So much.
So we got this stuff set up now.
Food production is going.
I don't know who I want to play.
Very big.
So I don't.
Off at 91 and 97. Remember that.
I think we're basically in Steamworld as our Castile campaign, so I don't know if I'm going to continue that one. I'll continue it, but I don't really know if we will, honestly.
9 irrigation. Because, like I said, it's what 10% per, something like that. Oh, these tooltips, man!
Yeah,
these tooltips, man. I hover over
pretty
this one.
Good.
It tells me exactly what I want to know. I hover over this one.
Because if it's 10% per, I don't know like what that'd be.
But going up, baby. Numbers going up.
I'm pretty sure that's
holders for us, which is going to be
like for agriculture.
Ooh, and counting houses, crown power. Yep. All right, we're doing it. We're gonna do it. We will continue to build the roads until transport improves or whatever. But for real though, roads are actually super important for helping out with proximity. Look at that, baby. Almost 30 ducats a month. We love to see it. Now we've got the buildings going off on full tilt. Our guys.
You know, I've never played Venice in all my time playing EU4. I think that's going to be a good campaign to play on one of the last days I'm playing EU4. I might honestly still play EU4 occasionally, but if I really like EU5, probably not.
Okay. Oh, well. Yeah, you ain't looking so good, Hano. Well, that's what you get for trying to force me into a junior partnership, you prick. I hope you get annexed, too. Well, these guys are going to give me another 450 gold, so I might as well take that, too. Hey, yo, Renaissance? I don't know if that's actually... Ooh, a cabinet seat? Yikes. Okay. That crown power? Oh, okay, we definitely need that. We're gonna have to wait though. That's not quite here yet. Gonna save up for those counting houses. Those are gonna be really useful. Meanwhile, Rotterdam is literally just like our coal and iron guy. Like just this one location alone, and that's its entire dedicated purpose. And we're at 45 a month with a additional taxes. We love that. Love to see that. We will continue to build more roads because that's what we do. Now, if my mother would have taken Tylenol, it would be railroads, but we're doing regular dirt roads or gravel roads for now. Might as well make some money from distillers guilds. It seems to be quite a lucrative good here, huh? My understanding is that generally you want this number here to be in the negative. Not necessarily a huge amount, but as it is, it will pull peasants up to it. So you can see here, this is the number of peasants, and this is how many burgers we need to upgrade from the peasants. And every month, a certain amount will go up until you reach 0 peasants, at which point you're considered like kind of urbanized, I guess. Holders, and we will build them. Holders are cool. They give you population capacity, which is nice, the food production, which is nice, but the monthly development growth, that's the big one. Now they are pretty expensive, so we're going to prioritize putting them in the provinces that have kind of the most you know, important stuff going on in it. It's actually so frustrating that these guys are still moving up. Like they're still just slowly creeping up. And basically it looks like unless I literally buy, like they're over 50. So I actually don't know what I need to do now. Now, if I wanted to, I could get a CB on these guys, build up this army with the large amounts of money that we have coming in, and then conquer them. But
we're gonna work on vassalizing.
We're still gonna focus on building up the buildings. Why not? You know, we need to make more money.
I don't know what the fuck they want
to
accept
build
that.
Counting houses now. It's gonna be
maybe
really
we'll
important. I promise.
wait for them to declare.
They're super expensive. But this crown power, it actually makes like a very big
I'm putting my
deal.
webcam back on now that I'm
important in general.
I don't know.
Oh right, Civil War, because the nobles
done eating.
even though they're very happy.
I was waiting for myself to finish dinner.
Happy, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, what the fuck?
Admittedly,
oh,
I
I
don't
forgot
really
to change
like
it back
the
from
Civil Wars
CP3.
I find it to be quite irritating. Oh, honey, it's time to give me more money. Getting absolutely filthy rich off of just taking money from our friend here, who I'm inevitably going to backstab. More counting houses. Bureaucracy. Well, we're going to obviously need centralization.
Okay,
that
cool.
Is going to help us very quickly, much quicker.
Let me just,
which again takes us from basically estate satisfaction over to crown power, which is really important. We were at 31 before, but these counting houses have brought us up to 33 and 34 rather, and it is going to have lasting impact. I'm gonna start getting a couple more towns founded over here. Places like Horn, maybe. Yeah, I think Horn will become a town. This guy will become a town. This one will probably not, because fruit is,
we're gonna,
you know,
drop that
food,
down.
so we don't really want to urbanize that. This one turns Horn into a town if it passes, so we might as well push that one through. Free subjects, sounds good to me. We will produce all of the paper. We're definitely moving into Utrecht for our next one, so I am going to make sure that we are stronger than them. And that means we're going to need to start spending some money on our army. We can do that. It's not a problem at all. Oh, goody.
Why the fuck does the Pope have such a negative
rebels? Because our
allied rival
guy decided he was going to push something through that we have no say over. Ah, man, have I mentioned how much I dislike this new union system? I think it's cool. It has potential to be really cool, especially with the whole voting stuff. But the fact that it's just like I'm just hard locked into just losing them all, it's no good. It's no good. Possible government reforms. Oh, centralization, crown power, and estate satisfaction decay. Is that even a question, bro? Is it even a question? Why will it not push farther than 10.88? That is an oddly specific number, and I don't seem to know why it won't go farther. Hey, free crown power. We take that up to 35. I definitely am all right with that. Let's go ahead and just reduce opinion. I don't care. The major thing I needed was to fabricate this CB, and we are obviously going to be attacking these boys in short order. Just get a little bit more men in the army, probably some heavy cavalrymen, maybe like one of them, and then a couple of handgunners, and we should be good to go. So now we're going to be investing a bit into some tanneries, going to try to boost the amount of leather in our node, and that way we are going to be able to recruit more army for much cheaper. You can see here the price is affected heavily by leather, and we can get our price down an additional 33% if we can bring the price of leather down. So that is how we're going to work on that. You know what they say, the best offense is a good defense, or something like that. So big army, nobody's going to attack us. If they do attack us, they're going to get booped on the snoop. We could go with a noble electorate, but I think we're going to curtail the nobles, pushing us towards centralization, blocking the nobility from the cabinet. They've honestly just been pretty annoying for most of this game. You can see they're rowdy, even though they're barely disloyal. So we're going to go ahead and curtail them. It's going to hurt our ability to tax them a little bit. Well, it actually allows us to tax them more, but it should be fine. Yeah, mostly I just want to make it so they quit harassing me and making problems for my people. And now you can see we've got some tanneries off the board, and every month the price to recruit these guys is going to go down, down, down. And I also think that applies to maintenance costs. Yep, it definitely does. So that's pretty good. You can see the more that we are producing, the less we need to import, and importing is, you know, expensive. Protectionism, hey. This is getting to be about as cheap as we're going to be able to recruit. So let's go ahead and get those handgunners in the army. Bolstering up those numbers is going to make us very, very spooky to our neighbors. I promise you that. Development is not the best, but we will be working on that. Development gives a couple of bonuses, mostly to, you know, kind of like things that would scale up with it. In general, more development is good, as you would probably already have assumed. Oh my goodness, I'm at 100% stability. I don't think I have ever seen that my whole time playing this game, and I've got like 150 hours in it. Oh, hello there. So
150 hours, buddy. Come on, come on.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I think it shows our flag up at the top.
150 hours in EU4. Come on.
That's kind of cool. So I'm curious. Yeah,
also, haven't the people who have early access had early access for like a long ass time now?
Build a couple bridges too.
I don't think this guy's actually like big on EU. Well, actually no, Chuber. I think I have seen this guy channel around.
We've got all of the roads that we need to be building built up. So
I'll link his channel in the chat, the video, just so it's not like I'm like, I don't want to steal his content, but I do want to just react, because I like watching YouTube while I play my games and shit, but I don't want to like steal his content without providing the link to what we're watching, so you guys can watch his stuff later on if you want.
So I feel confident,
or just hop out of here and
it
watch
says
that.
We're
But yeah,
slightly weaker than them, but we can actually build up a few more men, and we should totally be fine. Get a couple more cav, and we'll call it a day. So let's go ahead, declare this war. I think we should be fine, and off we go. Early on, we just want to catch as many of their little armies off as possible and just wipe them all out, keep them separated. That's going to be the key. Yep.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna pop this out and
stuff. But, there's a tide turning trade capacity. It all sounds pretty good to me. Oh, big battle in Arnhem. Winds change, Cuddies, blowing dust up off the ground. Crazy, bro. I love this so much. Come September, we they got on the hog, and yeah, they got absolutely destroyed by that. So they lost 20,000 by 6,000. These numbers are very much acceptable. You guys will be pieced out. And actually, I think there's a mighty mountain of bills on the floor. Also pay me back for any. If it builds up any higher, they'll be bursting through the door. But, I don't want to mess with too much. Tear down these walls, let me shiver in the wind. I'll take it as a sign, well timed, and consider it God's sin. Yep, they won both of them. Both of them they won. I could take your hand and leap across the border. Same province. Give them a little gas and ride off towards high ground. They will automatically take everything back, and then I will come in here and some old forgotten town. And just like that, and let the world pass by till there's no turning around. Annex all of this. Let the world pass by till there's no turning around. The only people that would join our coalition is going to be Utrecht, who is getting annexed. So that's it for us. Next up, Frisian freedom, apparently. And we'll take that land. Of course, it is going to be needed. needed for us to form.
I can picture it now, a White House in a clearing.
So I would say that was overall a very.
I'm in a bluebird song till the days are hard to hear.
It will get better over time. Oh, looks like
Ancient blue ridges, just like big old fences. Shelter from the world, keeping senseless at a distance. I could take your hand and leap across the border. Give a little gas and ride off towards high ground. Make a piece of heaven near some old forgotten town. And let the world pass by till there's no turning around. Let the world pass by till there's no turning around.
Next month they should be able to, yeah.
If you guys want me to skip a song, I'll try and skip it, but I don't really gonna change that for you guys. No offense, I like what I like with music, and if you don't like that, you know, there's plenty of other channels. I know that not really many channels use music with YouTube, but it's actually a very few number of artists that will copyright their shit. So and also it's mainly if you're like a really big channel that will get wondering about that. I think otherwise they just view it as marketing. Same with a lot of other stuff on YouTube. I don't have I think pulled this up on the motherboard. Cause I don't know if it's I want to see what chat's saying. But right now I only have one monitor pulled up, so I can do that. Displays. We're gonna pop up on extended display.
Probably accept them. We'll definitely help out with
set
control
it
over in
to-
these regions.
On display 2, we're gonna set that
education
to
of the elites. This one automatically looks really
16
good.
by
This
90
education of the court.
and
Efficiency of
900.
the cabinet is just always a useful one. Yeah, I don't see anything else that even appeals to me, so we're just gonna go ahead and go with that.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and the union has reformed. Okay. Oh, hey, it looks like we've actually passed them. Are they? How? Just because now
Alright, so I'm
we're
gonna pop
actually, like,
EU4 onto this
significantly
monitor over
stronger for them?
here. This one.
Well, I guess if that's the case, we should try to push this debate here. In a couple of years, we can become senior partner. That would be nice. And I suppose we should probably get a couple of boats in our navy. We are the Dutch. I know I haven't even looked at it yet, and it's, you know, almost 1444. Cannon maker up next, and I think you guys already know we're gonna be making some cannons. Because if you can't beat them, you might as well make their weapons, I guess, or something like that. We will build the cannons. Artillery is, as you would expect, important. Oh, and by the way, we're past 1444, which is kind of cool. Ooh, a counting house and control.
Okay,
That's
cool.
tempting. Gravel road network is also always very tempting. More money.
Oh yeah.
We can get capital economy in. More capital economy. This will push us towards centralization as well by 10, which
Okay,
is
so we're gonna pop
definitely
that
what we
onto
want.
the main
So we're gonna go ahead
thing.
and work on that. Here we go. Only a little bit upset with the estates, and they should be good by the time the parliament ends. And with the money that we're going to make off of these extra taxes, we can build more roads. So that is a total win-win in my opinion.
Roads
and
probably
T
OP
is-
in EU4,
Now, if we
EU5.
could just
So.
get that up a little bit, and we can get a large chunk of money, which I will happily take. And then in the next one, once we've done coring up all this stuff, then we'll worry about possibly pushing over into Friesland. Lots of cannon makers in the works. Love that. And speaking of cannons, how about it? Maybe we should work on getting some copper imported, huh? That might help out with the prices for that. We definitely want to import some copper. And of course, why not from Stockholm? So, sounds good. Oh, baby. Establish seniority. Oh, wait, no. They've actually passed me now. They were behind me, and now they've passed me. Did I just misread it before? Oh, so I'm just voting for myself to become their junior partner again. This is our senior partner, by the way. France has won the 100 Years' War. Interesting. Okie dokie. Parliament coming soon. Gonna go to war with East of Frisia. They don't have any friends I care about, so I will actually dominate them, which will be very nice. A nice change of pace. And here we go. We're gonna hold it in the hog. Go for market expansion is always good. Fabricate a CB on Friesland. Contain pike and shot. I'd rather not, so I guess we'll just let this one fail. That's fine. And now we will declare this war.
I don't know what keeps pausing every time the music ends.
Stability hit from it, so that's fine. Looks like they have no forts over here. So, all right.
Let me change it to.
We just want to piece Cologne out as quickly as possible. That's going to be the goal for that. Is there a way to barrage the walls? That is the question. I don't know.
There's
if I
a tide turning in this temporary town.
Peace out. Give me all their money.
When to change goodies, blowing dust up off the ground.
Not worried about a 1v1 with these guys. No, this one we will be taking these 2 areas. That's how this is going to work. All right. A year and a half, almost 2 years.
Dreams swinging on our porch, gander and
AE is really not that bad. Bunch of people who I don't really care about could
There's a mighty mountain of bills on the floor.
Why not? There we go. Easy peasy. And we can now form the Netherlands. So let's go ahead and do that. Very cool. Oh, it's a nice color as well. Okay. And Bourbon is asking for money. Nah,
I don't miss
that's not how that
you
works.
in the
fact, buddy, I asked you for money.
I'm just fine with the sunrise
alone. We didn't use any levies. That was entirely
Step outside for a cigarette.
Very cool. Oh,
I don't think twice about the smoke.
Going to be a whammon.
Alright.
Okay.
So let's get started on the game again.
Another one. Once you get it, it's going to give you some pretty solid.
So
I keep losing like in the early mid game because I focus on depping up rather than taking out. Need to fix that.
I still can't hear your name.
I think the dev system in EU5 is going to be way better than it was in EU4. Just because it's mainly building buildings versus like spending your points.
I get to spilling the truth. I'm just sober over you.
Culturally, most of those people are Frisian or Westphalian, which both are accepted now, so we should be fine with that. I don't know how the Hussites are doing. And they're gone.
I know what it looks like,
a bit more
but this ain't always how it is.
Looks like they're gone. Yeah,
I ain't drinking.
Guys should turn me into
I ain't thinking
like again, it just doesn't
about
make
your
sense.
kiss.
This actually makes no sense.
And that guy shut bars down.
So theoretically, I
ain't got nothing good to say. He don't see it like I see. He keeps on getting in the way.
Now I'm gonna get.
Yeah, I'm sober over you. But drunk me don't have a clue. And after a few, I get to spilling the truth. I'm just sober over you.
Sadly, no roads. It's what I wanted. That's okay. I guess we'll go to the census. It's always a helpful.
I won't lie, yeah, I tried to find someone new.
Fine with me for 12 stability.
But I'm
That's probably worth it.
sober
Anyway, let's start doing
over
more
you.
roads. We definitely want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm sober over you.
Definitely getting better.
But drunk me don't have a clue.
Still high 20.
And after a few, I get to spilling the truth. I'm just sober over you. I'm just sober over you.
I'm gonna turn up the volume on the EU4 video for you if I've been watching.
Alright, so apparently you can become a duke. You just have to be friendly with the emperor, in this case Luxembourg. And we are now a duchy. So that's nice. Wish I would have known that, 100 years ago, but it is what it is. So here's the issue with attacking these guys is they're allied to basically everybody. We're gonna get completely boned if we try to attack them. That's tough. That's really tough. And so it doesn't look like there's an easy way to like click another nation to see. Okay, so like they're allied to these guys, I guess. But why does it not say what their relations are? You just have to know what the colors are, I guess. I mean, that's fine, but it could be a little more useful, I think. So if I wanted to attack them, I have to attack a lot of people, which it's not really worth it. We'll worry about it later. More marketplaces, like you do. As this land comes more under our control, it will become even more useful, which is wonderful. All kinds of marketplaces. And I guess we just have no cabinet members. We can't even afford them. They're like crazy expensive to get them in. So we sit back and wait, I guess. I don't know. Just integrating some land over here and doing that, I guess. Oh man, up to 75 is crazy. Look at that, 144% food here, 119, 112. Honestly, we should probably just work on getting more fruit over here in Amersfoort. It's not the greatest RGO, but we'll take what we can get, I suppose. Well, maybe we want to become the King of Denmark. That would be pretty great. You could marry Sir Charles McEstrid, a general, and also our second cousin. You know? Oh, much better. Now we're actually like a great power. That's pretty great. I love that they're the senior partner now, even though they're a little guy. Just a little guy. Honestly, my best bet to attack them might actually be to attack Brabant and then separate piece them. That's probably better off. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Put the Emperor as well. But just numbers alone, like we outnumber them pretty heavy. I just need to get a couple more members in our army. We'll get a few more, kind of see if we can manage. That'd be pretty great. Big chunky army over here. Next parliament coming up soon. See if we can get a claim down here. Actually, they're our allies, so we're gonna have to wait on a truce anyways. 3 years isn't too bad. Oh, it looks like they're at war with the French. You guys at war with the French? What's this about? What's going on here? They are. Interesting. Navarrese war. They're just allied to Navarre, I guess? I don't know, man. That's kind of goofy. Well, this is good for us, though, because it means that they are much less likely to get helped by their friends, and we can probably scoop in and take a really nice state here, maybe even 2, depending on how much our antagonism will allow. So let them get beaten up on. I really don't care. It's anything. If anything, it's a good thing for us. Let's fabricate that CB on Brabant here. I think that is a good one. Apparently the PU stuff causing me instability, like you do. Oh, I love that, actually. That's really funny. If we were to attack them right now, we would totally dominate. The New World has been discovered in 1461. Very cool. My daughter and heir, I think, right? Our ruler's daughter. Are you not my heir? I don't know. Oh, wait, no. My ruler's nephew is my heir. Okay. Truce expires in September of 66. Wow. All right, so I can't attack them. Oh, it's a bummer. I feel like that tooltip lied to me. I could be wrong, though. Oh, no. They took Antwerp. Oh, the French took Antwerp. That is tragic. Okay. We'll have to figure that out, I guess. Wait, my nephew died? He was the Duke of Brabant? Oh, hold on a minute. So who's our heir now? Who's this boy? He's young, too. 17? The new Duke of Brabant. Oh, goodness gracious. What is going on here? Maybe it would be best for us to look to take over this union then. We really need to. Slightly weaker than them, though. I don't know, man. I feel like if we just sit back and let them come in and then just like stack wipe them one by one, we can probably make it happen, especially Brabant. Especially if we can get pike and shot. I'm tempted to just take the stab hit right now. That will allow us to get some pretty beefy mill research for sure. Halberdiers, I think they are an upgrade for our handgunners. That would definitely give us an edge, without a doubt. I don't know why France gave these provinces back as well. They just gave it back to them. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna ask questions. Yeah, somebody's smoking crack on the dev team though. 1,300 to bribe the estate for 10 loyalty. I think those scaling numbers might be a little overtuned. Ooh, we really need to get better about our food stockpile here. It's gonna be a problem. Yeah, I think we're just gonna definitely get a new CB on these guys. Now the issue is that when this guy dies, which could be like as soon as literally when we declare the war, we will be ruled by the same guy. So I don't know how that actually works, whether or not I should wait until my guy dies. I don't know, it's tempting. Printing press, huh? All right, well, what can we get with that? I'm sure there's some good stuff there as well. Trade capacity, building costs. Oh my goodness. I think we can probably invest a little bit of time into that. Crown power, cabinet seats, paved road. Heck yeah, bro. I'm gonna save up our money and try to rush out those paved roads as quickly as possible when the time comes. We're gonna have this pretty soon as well, so that'll be nice. Halberdiers. Let's see here. Can I upgrade my handgunners? Yes, let's go. Oh, they're gonna be so chunky. That's gonna be so chunky. I bet these guys hit like a truck. Oh, and apparently they're larger as well. 400 per. Oh, okay. So that's a lot of manpower we're sinking into that, but that's pretty good. I really wish my estates would pipe down, man. They're getting under my skin. Yeah, we're just gonna wait it out until this guy dies and see how things go. In the meantime, I would love to try to push for this, but it's just really not worth it in my opinion. If we can take it over, I would rather do it when Brabant is involved in the PU as well. All right, there we go. So now it should include a union with Brabant, which is awesome. And now, if I were to declare war on him, Brabant would not join. We are slightly weaker, quote unquote, but I don't think we actually are. I reckon we could absolutely win this war. So we're going to go ahead and confirm that CB, and we're going to attack. I feel pretty good about it. Let's go ahead and so we'll give it, it's going to take a few months, and we'll declare war on them. Unified succession law. I mean, I guess we vote for it. It's fine. Those halberdiers are about to absolutely shred these guys. I feel very good about that. I think that our army is probably one of the best in the world. Like, we could probably, well, I don't know if I want to say the French, but I'm sure we could actually hold our own. And since I'm the player, they decided to ally Austria, which is probably going to tip the scales a little too much against us. So we're going to hold off a little bit longer, I guess. So, like, these guys would be a good declare because they would call in. No, they would not. Why would they not? Who are you allied to, homie? It says that they're allied. Why are they not joining them if they get attacked then? I don't know, man. That's weird. All right. Well, I guess we're chilling for a bit then. Taking a look at our market, though, I feel pretty good about stuff. Considering the fact that we're about, what, 140 years in? Without a doubt, the #1 trade power in the brood market, which is pretty good. And still iron. Very high in demand. Well, I suppose I could probably do something about that. And at this point, we've got enough research queued up that we'll just wait for printing press to spawn on its own, and then we'll go down that path. We just can't attack these guys until they're not going to be backed up by everyone and their cousin. We need to wait it out. It's very annoying. Our dude went bald at 35. He just decided to chop it all off, I guess. Tax efficiency. Always tempting. Both of these are pretty tempting. Ooh, efficiency of our cabinet, though. We're definitely going to go with that one. That alone boosts them up quite a bit. This noble one is hurting us, but we'll get rid of it eventually. I can do it right now. Might want to do that, honestly. Let's go ahead and do that. Costs us a lot of stability, but it's fine. It honestly is fine. We'll be able to buy their loyalty a little bit as well. We'll do it right now. Don't want those rebels. Really don't want them rebels. And that just makes our cabinet that much more efficient. So that's definitely a good one. Palatinate of the Rhine. I could totally attack them and PU them, apparently. But I don't think that's going to happen. Let's go ahead and marry our boy off to Katharina van der Mark over here. She's a distant cousin. That's okay. We don't mind a little bit of that wincest, you know? Oh my goodness. Dude, I don't like this. I do not like this. Look at this. 33. I'm gonna have rebels now. I don't even know what I did wrong, bro. I literally don't know what I did wrong. Oh, maybe I voted for the line one. I just assumed they would. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, we're 100% gonna have a noble rebels. Honestly, I kind of have to suck it up and just go for it because it looks like I'm about to get annexed, and obviously I don't want that. Well, might as well get some money from these guys. Might as well. Getting a couple more men in the army, specifically cavalry, to make sure that we can try to blast through these lines, because we're definitely going to need to go to war here. I don't think we have a choice. I don't want to get annexed by this little, like, one province minor. Makes me a little angry. But I'll actually need quite a few more armories and training fields. I did not realize that I was, like, completely screwing over my ability to field an army by building it up so large. We've got lots of money, though, so that's really not a problem. And when the time comes, we will attack, and they will send men in, but I'm not really too fussed about it. It looks like Austria is having a war of its own, which is very much ideal for us. Civil war with some nobles. For who? Oh, maybe it's these guys? I don't know who you're fighting against. Over here, I guess? I don't know, man. Lots of training fields finishing up, and we'll have a a positive manpower flux. We'll have a positive manpower thing, which is going to be really good. We're going to need that. Meanwhile, we've got 4 more years to declare this war, so we should be fine. We're in the green, and these guys have rebels. Interesting. Doesn't change anything on our end. Let's just go ahead and declare that war, and we're just going to sit back and play defensively for a little bit. In these sorts of battles, we need to make sure that we are being smart, because we don't want to waste a bunch of manpower. But yeah, if we can take like a little small stack, we want to do it. Might as well go with some larger levies. We're probably going to need them. Probably. So do we just make a doom stack and run around? I actually don't know how this works. But I can doom stack. I'm fully capable of doom stacking. Looks like we might need to doom stack. Yeah, I don't see how they do this. I mean, if we're just kind of sitting back waiting for them to attack us over and over again, I mean, I can do this basically all day. So right now it's 8,000 to 30,000, and we're going to start piecing people out. I think it's going to go pretty dang quick. Let's go ahead and vassalize these guys. I think that's a good call. Gonna have to siege some stuff down here that I'd rather not, but we're probably gonna have to. But getting out the big guys like Austria, that's gonna be a major one. A lot of men they've got. Oh, here we go. Here we go. That's a big battle. Oh my gosh, that's a big battle. A Pyrrhic victory as well, but a victory nonetheless. That was the Austrian doom stack right there. Do we need 80 war score for this? Yeah, it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a minute. I love when they split up their armies and I can just absolutely thrash them like that. Oh, that's the best. So we're gonna see if we can kind of like start slowly separate piecing everybody out. It's piecemeal. That's kind of gonna be the goal here. Liège, they're out. See if we can get onto Luxembourg's capital, get them out. We just like kind of run around, occupy their capital, or at least stand on it. Occupied and besieged provinces is a very powerful modifier. I don't know if that's how it works in EU5, but in EU4 it did. I don't know, man. Do you think it's worth losing 60,000 men to keep control of your personal union? I don't know. I guess that's up to them. You guys are out of there. Now, Luxembourg, I'd like to get you out of there. They're close. They're getting there, man. They are close. Big battle. Oh, big battle with the Austrians, and a big win for us. Love that. People are starting to get a little antsy to get out of the war, but they're clinging in there, so I guess we'll just let it hang out. Luxembourg is out. That's a big one. Now, if I can get Lorraine out and then, like, ideally Austria, but I don't know. We'll see about Austria. Lorraine is close, but their capital is, in fact, not a fort, so that makes it a lot easier for me. I'll also take some money from them, because why not? Austria over here casually sieging me down with 0 attrition, because reasons, I guess. I don't think so, brother. I don't think so. You guys are fighting me. Fighting. Let's get down here and see if we can siege down his capital. This war's been going on for 3 years, and it is an absolute bloodbath. I am a big fan. This is a lot of fun, actually. Over 100,000 men have died, and most of them are on their side. We're taking 1 to 3 losses, so this is absolutely, like, it's fine. It's really okay. Looks like they're trying to base race us a bit, but yeah, I'm not worried about it. They can siege down my subject in some random peripheral fort. It's really fine with me. 57%. We've lost 3 times in a row. Are they going to win both of these sieges before it? Most likely. Oh my gosh, that's like 6 in a row we've lost this siege. I am in awe. I'm actually in awe. They're going to get onto my capital before I can siege this town. Man. Same annoying garbage from the previous title, man. Let's come over here, take this back. Very important. Get out of here, you clowns. Get out of here, you clowns. I don't think so. This is my fort now, baby. My fort. Get down here and siege his capital, and then we can probably piece this one out. It's just annoying that there's so many people in the war, bro. So many of them. Austria and the Pope almost won out. Maybe if I come up here and boop this Austrian army, they will be a little more willing to peace out. That would be wonderful. Nope, they're actually feeling much better now, so that's good. All right, they are now willing to give me this treaty, where we will assume seniority in the Union. That is all I wanted for the entire thing. Insanely high losses on both sides, mostly on their side, but still. But this is now the Netherlands Union, and we want to get Brabant back in there. How do we do that? Where'd you go? Right. So I'm his heir. Is he my heir? He's not. Okay, well, hopefully that'll work out. Either way, we are now the senior partner, so foundation law, seniority. sovereign succession law, and now we can start working towards these as time goes on. I won't lie though, that kind of took it all out of me. That was exhausting. But honestly, I feel pretty good about it. I think we've got ourselves in a really good spot. We could continue this if we wanted to, and maybe after the release of EU5, we can do that if you guys want to. We are making a lot of money on trade because this little trade node is super good. We are making almost as much money in trade over here as France is in the entirety of this node. Pretty nutty. And all of that with only conquering like 4 provinces. Pretty good. Feels really good to be making videos on the channel again. I'm sure I'm biased, but I'm actually pretty excited for this release and for the subsequent updates. With all the time that I have in this, I'm happy to say that I think that it is releasing in a pretty good spot. And obviously it's a Paradox title, so you know there will be quite a bit of support after release. So if you think it's okay now, you can definitely expect it to get better with time. I don't think this game is going to be any exception to that. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. Don't forget to subscribe. And I don't advocate for pre-orders, but if you do want to pre-order the game, you can check out the link in the description and in the pinned comment. If you buy the game using that link, there's no extra cost to you, and I get a little kickback. Helps me out a ton. And if the game's already been released, you can still use that link. It's still going to help me out. But I appreciate you for watching. I know this was a long one, but hopefully it was a good one for you. And stay tuned, because there's going to be more EU5 content in the future. Thanks again to Paradox for the early access and for sponsoring this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Hello and welcome everybody, I'm eu4 Barbarian and you are watching my review of EU5. I will first go over everything that I like and then over everything that I dislike in a very clear, concise fashion. Normally I do reviews that are really comprehensive and completely scripted, really going through every single game mechanic and dissecting them, but the game is so deep and everything is so intertwined that if I did that, you, having not played it, would get lost in the sauce and you wouldn't really get much out of this. This video is extremely practical in nature. Everything that I'm talking about, first the good and then at the end of the video the bad, is meant to give you an overview of what you get but also what you have to tolerate if you buy EU5 at launch. But for starters, here's my combined verdict so that you know what is going on here. I love EU5 and I recommend it. I think for most player types it will be easy to love this game because this game loves history, it loves deep simulationist mechanics while not forgetting that a pure sandbox where nothing ever happens isn't actually interesting. The game, however, also is the least polished Paradox game that I have ever played at launch, and I have played many of them since Hearts of Iron 2. I recommend this game absolutely if you can deal with just how goddamn rough it is. Now, let's finally get to the part where I glaze the parts of the game that I really, genuinely love. Now for starters, I already said it, this is the biggest thing, I can't really get around it. It's the elephant in the room. This game is deeply and incredibly so systemic. That means that whatever you do is always connected to 15 more layers. It is super interesting to follow those layers down into that rabbit hole and to analyze it. It starts with really basic things that are easy to understand, but the kind of effect that it has is very symbolic for everything going on in this game. A great example here is the bailiff building. At a certain point at the very start of your campaign, you will ask yourself, hey, I have all this land, my wealth is vast, and yet I'm getting no taxes from it. What do I do about it? And the game says build a bailiff. A bailiff will make it so that you have more control in those territories, right? They collect the taxes, they do paperwork, all that boring kind of stuff, and you get a bigger benefit out of it. But the bailiff also relies on aristocrats. It makes the aristocracy estate stronger. This is so fascinating. It is such a simple step of, hey, I want more taxes out of this situation. And you are getting those taxes, but somebody else benefits as well, because you're delegating work to them.
I'll also link you guys this in this video.
This is emblematic for everything that EU5 does. If you think about it, it's really intuitively true. That is how that works. If in the Middle Ages, before you have a state apparatus, you have to rely on your aristocracy, well then obviously they go to become stronger. They will have a better seat at the table, given that they are directly connected to your money. This is phenomenal. This game is not easy to understand. I really want to stress this, but every time you see a mechanic and are willing to dive into a rabbit hole to understand what exactly is happening there and why it is happening there,
but I'll definitely link it to you. It's a guy called One Barbarian.
Starved and thirsty, but you will be incredibly satisfied, because then you will go, oh, that makes so much sense.
And
what they're doing here
he's
is
a
they're
pretty good
showing that I have to
YouTuber. He
rely
does a
on
lot of
my
Big 3
direct
stuff, Big
advisors,
3,
for example, to build up control in the
another
situation,
Paradox
collect
game
taxes,
for
which
people
keeps
who
them
aren't
busy. but it does help me. Whereas later on, I don't need to do this anymore. We have cities,
I play it on my
much
channel
easier to
sometimes,
administer things.
but
Everything
yeah.
becomes much more organized.
So let me,
it's these kind of things where if you enjoy systemic design, if you like looking at a video game and then actually learning history as you learn the mechanics, this game nails it. I cannot state it in any other way. It is perfection, the way that the game approaches these mechanics. It also makes it so, of course, as a side effect, that every time you learn a mechanic, you also learn something about history. By and large, this game is the closest to the feeling that I got for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. If you've played it, you might notice that some of the quests in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 are not amazing. Some of the quests is like, okay, this isn't written that well, who cares, you know, whatever. But every single quest is one where clearly one of the developers opened the book, read something that happened in history and said, I want the player to know about this. It's this kind of thing, where you go into this and you will always come out knowing more. This game really secretly just makes you learn things.
I just realized something.
They're forcing us to take an exam.
My arrow key is on backwards.
Forced us to take an exam on this, you know, at like the end of the semester. Listen,
but
the deal is,
this
is actually incredibly well done. I was so impressed. I was crestfallen. I mean, if you've seen my CK3 review, then you might know this as well. I thought maybe the time for these kind of, you know, historical games that run it like that, maybe it's over. Maybe that doesn't happen anymore, you know, who knows why. And then came eu5. No, they're still doing it. They're still doing it the old-fashioned way, okay? Like Coca-Cola in this one restaurant. Now, this is really interesting and it's really well done, and I think it is one of the strongest arguments that you can make. But I already hear people now screaming in the back, but I liked eu4, I liked playing a board game, it was fun. And I can tell you, you don't need to be disappointed. When I started playing eu5, first of all, I had a terrible time. A friend told me, hey, listen, all you need to know, no matter how many levels there are, how much more complex it seems with the population and such, the base logic of what you're doing is very much the same of eu4. And then it clicked. I looked at it and I realized, oh my god, they got rid of the mana, they made everything more realistic, but all the gameplay routines are very much eu4. You are basically playing eu4 but good, is what what evil people would say, which obviously I am not, right? If you are a lot more into board gaming, I think eu5 still scratches that itch. It goes into the exact same dynamics of trying to build up your country the exact same way that you do in eu4. It's just more grounded and complex. It goes more into it than, you know, primarily just the three elements of mana. I think what they did there is a great
I never
balance,
liked the
because it
mana
also
system
means that
in
you can feel this
EU4,
as
but
well
I
playing
do
EU5, that EU5
like
doesn't
playing tall,
start
and
from
that's why I
zero.
think I'm going to
They
really
are
like
re-rolling,
EU4,
they are
EU5.
changing everything fundamentally.
So that'll be
They
good.
are embedding the routines of gameplay that they know from EU4 in EU5 in a much more realistic and systemic way. So basically, the strengths are still there. It's just that instead of looking at development points, you're looking at population now. Instead of trade being just one directional, you're looking at free trade, where you can change a lot because everything is multi-directional. They have added complexity to what is a good and solid formula for running a game. Now, the last element that I want to bring into this here, before we move on to more, I guess, concrete topics like trade, economy, and warfare and such, I do want to bring up that they also definitely kept one characteristic from EU4 that I think was very smart to keep. This is, or it has the potential to be almost a pure sandbox game, because everything in EU5 is so systemic. But they also said, we aren't doing that. Johan said a while ago now that he thinks players are way more interested in acting out an alternate version of history rather than something that doesn't resemble history at all. Now, I will tell you that obviously that isn't fully working the way it is yet. The Ottomans, for example, they don't always rise up, or they never really rise up to the point where they are to be historically, right? But the idea, the design intention by the developers is very clearly there. There is the great example of the ages. So everything in EU5 is framed much like it was in EU4 and the EU board game through ages. So that means every 100 years your age shifts, and you can then expect that age is going to present the content that you expect to you, right? When I look at Victoria 3, for example, I don't know whether there is going to be World War I. I don't know whether there's going to be anything, because there is no bespoke system that says, here's World War I, let's do it. EU5 says, I think it's more interesting if there is a Reformation, if there is a 100 Years' War, the Ottomans, if China does fall apart, if there is a Sengoku. We think it is way more interesting if we have the religious wars, if we have the leagues, if we have the New World, if we have the Golden Age of piracy. All of that stuff is historical reality. It wouldn't be guaranteed in a pure sandbox, which might make it boring. Instead, Paradox said, no, we're guaranteeing. These ages are bringing this to the table. So here's the good news. There are guardrails that are securing that you are at least tackling the same issues and the same wider scope kind of conflicts that you had in reality as well. You can tackle them differently. You can convert, I don't know, France to Protestantism, that kind of stuff, right? But no matter what you do, they are headed for you, which means you can expect content to come your way. And this content, hey, this is incredible, it runs to the end of the game. And so the consequence of this is, and I'm gonna talk about performance in the second half of this video, but I am virtually always kind of eager to press on to the next age, because I know there will be content, there will be conflict, something will be happening there, because there are bespoke mechanics. This design philosophy is so cool, because it unifies a system and a game that is insanely grounded. Oh, I'm worried about my pop percentage, it's growing only at 0.3% per year. All of this stuff is in there, but also, I'm hyped because the League War is going to come up in 50 years. I can expect that because the game says expect it. This is design that I think strikes a great balance, because we come out with a game that is systemic, that is fun, that is super historical, but also says you're not going too far off the rails. You will get to enjoy all that stuff that you expect will be coming your way. So in a way, I think there's a great balance here when it comes to the historicity, but also just, hey, it's a video game. We're supposed to have fun here, you know? I think it strikes that balance really, really well. Now, let's move on and discuss warfare. I think warfare is really well done in this game. It's really cool because you see a massive transition that I don't think any other game has done like this. CK could have done it, you know, theoretically, with Men at Arms, that kind of thing. This game has an unbelievable transition from feudal warfare to more professionalized warfare and ultimately to line warfare. When we're talking about EU5 warfare, we're basically talking about 3 warfare systems in a trench coat. They're all the same system, just for the record. You have flanks and they come onto the field, but the way these stats work, the way they were conceived of, will be super interesting if you're a big fan of waging different wars, of figuring out the meta, of building, for example, you know, hey, what is my composition? There's a lot more flexibility, many different approaches, and you can do some stuff that I think most content creators, for example, aren't really using either. You can stack your flanks with just your professional troops, you know, the horses on the right. You can have your professional troops in the reserves, meaning they enter the battlefield late, which means they will be in tip-top condition, and then be able to take out the remaining troops that your levies had damaged before that, right? There is so much strategy and tactics in this, but you also just have the element where very early on, you don't have professional troops. They rout very early. They leave the battlefield, you know, at the slightest hint of damage.
I don't know if that's.
And so horses, pure horses, might be a great idea. If they have high initiative, they will destroy the enemy. They will come onto the they will enter the battlefield before the enemy can. They will smash them, and then they will call it a day. Whereas later on, the more you professionalize your army, right? So your army now is actually regulars. They're hired. It's a standing army, and you're drilling them. They have a lot of discipline. There's a lot going on in terms of experience and army tradition, and all of a sudden they can't be routed anymore. At least not that quickly. Which means we now get these bigger and bigger battles. First, we have different phases. And then, towards the end of the time scale, we have full battlefields, just massive, massive battles of line infantry duking it out. But it's all one battle system. That was one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. The way that they do it, I think, is super, super fun. Then there's things like, if you are in a market that doesn't have the goods that you need to actually reinforce your army, you can't reinforce them. There are so many interesting elements to this, and well, all I can say is that I think you will have something to chew on if you like chewing on army theory. If you don't like that, well, let me tell you, you're still gonna have fun clashing armies into each other. The battle system itself is really complex on the surface level. Obviously, you just build a normal army, so it is manageable. But this is one of those things where I personally think it is significantly better than EU4. EU4 didn't have a bad battle system at all, right, with the 2 rows. No, but I like this one so much. I think what they did there is so flexible, and it really, you see the massive changes between what is happening in the early battles and the late game battles. It is unprecedented, I think, this type of transition. I wish CK3, for example, did it more as well, but you know, you can't have everything. In EU5, we are getting extreme history focus, including somebody that very clearly is obsessed with warfare. But okay, let's say you're not a warfare player. What about economy and trade? Did that pan out? Did they do a good job? Yes. Look, I am a Victoria 3 fan, and Victoria 3's economy is inarguably more complex than EU5's economy. And EU5's economy does everything that it needs to do. This is something I think that was a lot overlooked in the early kind of conversations amongst the community, where it's like, oh, you know, why is this? What are these? EU5's economy serves a different purpose. EU5's economy fundamentally serves trade. primarily, of course, you're producing things, you're selling things, your pops are consuming stuff, right? And then these buildings that you're building, you can tax the profit. All of that makes perfect sense. But EU5 and EU as a series is about you building a trade empire, you getting resources that others can't access, and then throwing that stuff onto the market so that you make massive, massive amounts of money.
See, I have a really good idea for EU5.
And as bad as the UI is, trade is
people are all going to be focused on the gold,
such an
right?
amazing time. I did my video about the Teutonic Order turning into Jerusalem, and somebody left a comment asking, could I theoretically, now that I hold Jerusalem, could I create, you know, take over Egypt, I don't know, and then maybe go towards India via...
so I think that's like a resource called Quicksilver.
You can 100%
and I looked up where
with what I have done as the Teutonic Order
like IRL
in
where
my
it can be
video. You
found.
can make your way to India, you can bring
And
spices
that's,
and cloves, you can bring
California
them all the way back
and
to Europe,
Peru.
because we now have access
So I don't know
via
if that's the same as
Egypt.
in game,
Again, one of
but,
those historical footnotes. I could talk about the history in this game for a million years, but essentially why we went around, of course, was because there was no passageway through Egypt or the Near East, so by that I mean Mesopotamia and such, right? The Levant, Mesopotamia were locked off the Mamluks first, and then later on the Ottomans were incredibly hostile. If that is in the hands of the Teutonic Order, all of a sudden you have an open gateway where you can just go via the Red Sea towards India and then bring back the spices and cloves at a much, much cheaper rate than if you went all the way through South Africa. Really cool stuff what they're doing there, because the historicity there makes it so that you can think about this as the historical people did. What do I want to access? What do I need from over there? And then how do I get there the quickest? You can do this via the whole of Africa or via Egypt if you were to control it. Yeah, there is so much going on there with trade. And like I said, the economy isn't nearly as complex as Victoria 3's one, but that is partially because it is simulating 500 years, much longer than Victoria 3. And more importantly, again, it is all about being intertwined with you building a trade empire that lets you dominate whatever you're importing. Well, you know, your enemies don't get that trading money. It's really... There was this comic by Father Loris, right, where he said there are two types of players, and some just love the line go up in the economy. And I'm telling you straight up, listen, if that is your player type, yeah, you're gonna have an amazing time. Once you understand production methods and economic buildings and that kind of stuff, and then understand how to make it so that you get the resources you need in the market that you want them in, oh boy, so many hours that you can then spend. Novgorod with its fur is going to be a very different experience from a country like England that doesn't really have much more than rule, but just still, you can build a proper economy based on this in your home territory, but then you access America, and all of a sudden you get completely different resources that you can then, at a very cheap rate, of course, utilize, which your enemies can't do, because obviously you lock them out from that situation there, right? The way EU5 handles this is phenomenal. I am absolutely in love with the trade and economy system. It is extremely rewarding, and yeah, it's just difficult to learn, but once you do, oh, you can play around with it. So now we talked about systemic stuff, we talked about history, we talked about, of course, still some guardrails with the ages and such, right? Economy and trade also in there. Let me get to some smaller things before we get to the final topic of situations and international organizations. First of all, I need to eat crow. I do. Automation in this game, I thought when I saw it, I was like, oh, that just sounds like you developed a feature that you, for some reason, expose to the player, but actually expect the player to automate the entire time. I am eating crow, okay? They designed features where I started automating them at the very start of my EU5 career, and then bit by bit I de-automated all of them, every single one of them, just, you know, step by step to learn them individually. This made learning them so much easier for me. Do not get it twisted. This game is overly complex. This game is crazy. It is going to rob you of your lifetime. It's not easy getting into it, but the automation makes it so that you can sit down and you can figure individual topics out but not having to worry about others. It also makes it so that, for example, in multiplayer, you can go ahead and just automate certain particular things if you, for example, are in a player war, because you can't be bothered with them right now. You need to move armies, right? All this kind of stuff can be done, and only because they implemented automation. Again, it was a lot easier for me to learn this game thanks to that fact. So if, you know, you're afraid of learning something, you can automate it. It's not going to be optimal, but that's okay. Because what it allows you to do is to learn the game slowly. Now, last two things that I really want to highlight here are situations and international organizations. That's one thing. And then the other thing is something great about the UI. Basically, the UI has something really great to offer, and every other Paradox game, frankly, every other game under the sun needs to steal this. they let you search and filter so many menus. I'm talking an insane amount of menus. You know how in CK3 you can search the character finder and that's what you can do? In this game, almost every window, for example the buildings menu, you can search terms or you can filter for certain effects, like, hey, does this building give me maritime presence? If so, I want to see it right now. Does this maritime presence building start with coastal as a term? You can search for that specifically to find the coastal fortification. I think this stuff is crazy. I really gotta tell you, the way that makes it easier to use things. You can search map modes, for example, in the bottom map mode finder. That is something that every game needs at all times. It's incredible just how easy to use that makes so many menus that otherwise would need years to study until you memorize them. I think that is really cool. In general, of course, it's also awesome that there is a living map.
We're gonna work on building up a savings as Venice and try and keep
the map is developing
since
directly.
we're
You see
a
the
trade
actual
company, we're
buildings
gonna
that you're
try and
building
keep
in
a
those locations. You see
generic
the
balance
representation
of
the
like
population there.
500 and then later
very
on we'll
good
work it
glimpse
up
of the
to
scale of the map. I think this is something that I've not really mentioned yet, but it's
just
astonishing.
so we can
now let's
always
get
build
to the
a
last part, and for
charter
me this is
company,
one of
you
those
know?
things
So,
where,
for example, like
if you're talking about 1.0,
when you're playing a trade nation in EU4, if you don't want to, like, for example, if you like the game that we're watching right here,
it is really
but you can't
something that
afford
I
it,
love,
or you
that I think that the community
want
is
to
going
get
to
an
love,
older version that you can
hopefully
run
other
on an
games
old
yet again are
PC.
stealing.
You
I'm
could
talking
just
about
get
international
EU4, which I'm
organizations
playing right here on
and
the main
situations.
monitor.
When we talk about EU5,
But,
we're talking about a game that has a predecessor that has so much flavor, be it in DLCs, be it in mission trees,
right
or be
here,
it just in general
got,
stuff happening, like the Aegis system that EU5 of course also has, right?
Requires
EU5
1,000 gold
has
to
chosen to not do mission
whatever
trees,
defense gold,
and
whatever.
instead to do situations and international
Requires 1,000
organizations.
ducats to
And I think
build
this
a
is
trade
an
company,
incredibly
and
good
that's,
choice. So mission trees are technically in the game. They're only there for a tutorial and to be modded, I guess, right? For stuff like Andorra. But
later on,
the
that's not that much
vehicle
gold
to bring
actually, but
content to you,
I
the
mean,
player,
early on in the
by the
game,
developers
it's a
will
lot.
be international organizations and situations. I can't keep it 15 more. I can't say it 15 more times. It's too long. Situations describes something that impacts various countries. It's like CK3 and CK3 situations. And then international organizations are things like Stellaris federations, except they can be much more flexible in what they can do, right? So it can be because you are literally in a pact that is, for example, a religious league in the religious wars period. It can be that it's just a personal union in which you get to do certain things. It can also actually be like a defensive pact. They are so flexible and so good at delivering content and making everything that you need to know visible to you. What I mean here is that when you find yourself thinking, where is the content? What do I do next? What is coming for me here? You need to first just look at the ages, because again, the ages make it very clear. Oh, Age of Discovery. This is America. Let's see what is happening there, right?
To the east, boys, to the east
We're
we
going to do all that
drive.
stuff. Then, as you look at these ages, they will contain situations and international organizations, and they will impact you. You can interact with them, even if you're not directly involved. The HRE is an international organization, for example, the Catholic Church is one as well, all the Buddhist sects, that kind of stuff. Same thing right there. You can access the information about them even if you're not a part of them, which makes it so much easier to see what is going on in the world. There is a huge issue in other games where you don't really know what the AI is doing. What is the AI thinking? What is its current, imperative? What is going on in that scripted skull of that AI? These make it so easy to see that there is something going on in the world. When you see the 100 Years War tag declaring that there is that situation, and then you see a couple of buttons on what you can do about that situation, you know what is going on. Not to mention, they also added, these kind of like overviews of, oh, look, you're looking at the situation. Here's a couple of tips of what you might consider doing depending on how you want this to end. It's so good. I think it is the strongest content vehicle that Paradox has ever developed. You don't have the same issue like CK3 with its situations where you need to like desperately try to bring it into a different phase, that kind of thing. Instead, it is just a situation that declares, hey, there's a challenge here, it's side A against side B, against side C, against side D, or whatever it might be. This, what I just was talking about, is actually the Italian wars. There's so many potential leagues that can get involved in this. And then you look at this and you say to yourself, oh, okay, maybe I don't want to get involved at all, but you know what's going on and you know that they're dealing with this, or you go, I want to get involved, and then you just start crashing the party with whatever, of course, is accessible to you, depending on what your role is in that conflict. This is so cool.
Dude, I need to find like someone to keep
what I said earlier. If you are worried, hey, there's no content, nothing's going on.
Pretty much anyone with a beard knows this, but like,
do not get it twisted. There are countries that have more content.
If you don't have like napkins near you at all times,
but I will let you know right now.
Literally
if you're worried there isn't enough content, there is a ton lying around.
And I'm just eating like
that
a
you can
small
look at,
amount of ice
a ton
cream.
that you can interact with, and I think it is absolutely worth checking it out. So if you are one of the people, and quite frankly, it's totally fair, I think. If you say, hey, I need a little bit of red string that guides me through my campaign, I need to know what comes next, otherwise I feel aimless, and that just kind of feels pointless. Obviously, you can form countries and all that kind of stuff, but when a new age starts, you can bet on the idea that there will be some situation in there that will be fun to deal with, that you can mess around with, and will give you temporary or permanent enemies, depending on how harsh you are against the people on the other side of the equation there. This game is not devoid of content. There can always be more content, but I gotta tell you, they have chosen a vehicle that makes it so easy to bring a ton to the player already. It is really cool. So yeah, I guess
we're mainly gonna focus on
put it together. This is a game that wants you to dig deep. It is a game that gives you challenge after challenge after challenge, and you will emerge after many hours knowing so much more about history and the system. It is also a game that says, hey, listen, we are here to have fun. It's not a sandbox. This is a history with guardrails type of thing. But you can mess around in it if you want. You can change a whole lot of things. You have narrative storytelling, you have min-maxing, it is all present. Johan himself said that this is his magnum opus, he wants to die working on this game, and I can see why. There is so much going on there, and I think if you as a player want to explore and keep exploring, and every single hour you learn something more and you keep pushing, you get better, and then there's more content awaiting you in the next age, yeah, this is a game for you. These are the core things why I think this game is recommendable, this game is fun, and you should get it. Now, let's get into why you should only get it if you can stomach everything that I'm about to tell you. So, that's quite a line, huh? Let's finally get to the part where I hate on all the things that I think are hate-worthy. And I mean, I already gave it away in my combined verdict. Let's start with the polish. The polish for this game is atrocious. It is genuinely, absolutely terrible. Listen, I'm not gonna even kind of sandbag this where I'm like, oh, maybe they fixed it all in the release version. There is so much to be polished in this game. I believe it is impossible to fix it all in the release version. They are trying, I can promise you this, after everything, you know, all the reports that content creators have done, they are incredibly proactive and responsive in the Discord. I don't doubt that this is going to get polished, but right now, 2 days before release, I have to tell you, this is so unpolished, you are going to run into stuff that just doesn't work, but you won't be able to really tell because you're a new player. It's going to almost be instantaneously. The lack of polish is throughout the entire game. You can encounter this in the UI, you can encounter this in mechanics, in bugs, it is everywhere. And it's crazy, honestly. Like, the way that I saw this was 2 months ago, I remember this, right? I did that video where I was like, yeah, I'm like worried about, these are the things that I'm concerned about for EU5, and the reality of it is, I think it can be fixed. I think it can be fixed 100%, but it didn't get fixed in that time. I don't know. The reality of it is, I think that this is an insanely deep and intertwined and complex game, and I've glazed it for this, because it deserves to be glazed for this. But that also means that the polish that this game needs is that much more. You need to really step up what you do with the game, how much elbow grease you put into this to make it into a passable state. In my opinion, and this is kind of crazy, this game, seriously, we're like several months away from this being in a state where I'm like, this would be a 1.0 where I'm like actually giving it like a 9 out of 10. I don't do ratings anymore, primarily because like everybody understands something different from it. When I say 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, I'm like, this is a must play, you have to jump in right now. That is what I'm trying to express with those ratings, right? I don't think that it's a must play if your first impression is going to be unpolished, there's going to be bugs, it's going to be crazy. This is still really, you should play, it's really good, like without a doubt, right? But the polish is crazy. The polish situation is crazy. So now adjacent essentially to every single topic is this polish situation, which is why I brought it up first. You will encounter buttons that don't look like buttons, windows that give you no information, like the location window, completely useless outside of checking what is a core and checking the demographics if you're feeling funny just to look at it, and of course checking how much control you have. You will never go there to look at buildings or like specific pops or anything. Completely useless. It does not play a role there. There's so many windows like this. You also are looking at a ton of bugs, be it in regular circumstances like personal unions not working right, or the AI being bugged and constantly civil warring itself. Obviously, you've heard this as well from ISP and so on. There are crashes, there are these things. Surely they're working on them, and they are working on them. I can tell you this again, but that doesn't change that when you buy this game, you have to contest with those things. That is why we're here, right? We're not talking about like, is this fixable? The answer is yes, obviously. But oh man, it is crazy annoying. We're also talking about stuff like international organizations and situations not being in a great state. Like the HRE is in a terrible state. I want to be clear about this. It's in a bad state. It feels bad being the emperor. It feels silly being a member. There are so many elements of it where I'm like, that sucks, because this is one of those driving factors, of course, of much of gameplay, right? We're looking at the League Wars, we're looking at the Reformation, we're looking at the late game wars, maybe the dissolution of the HRE, that kind of stuff. It kind of sucks. This is one of those things where it's just through the entire game, you're going to see that it needed more polish, and 2 months ago I was like, yeah, okay, so if they just go on and polish it now, then we're all good to go. And
I should have played a defensive long ass time ago.
Now, let's move on from this, because again, like I said, this topic will come up again and again and again anyway in much of what I complain about afterwards, right? This is just, you have to contest with this if you buy this game early, and so this might be one of those absolute deal breakers for you. Now, next up is the UI, and I know that many of you will go like, yes, he's finally hating on the UI, it's so ugly. I don't mind the way the UI looks at all. I would say I like the way the UI looks at, okay? But I would also tell you that I think in large parts it is completely non-navigable. Like, there are so many windows where I'm like, is there a button there? Is this a button? Is that a button? Is there a tooltip here? Does this modify have an extra tooltip? Because sometimes they do, other times they don't. What is going on exactly here? Sometimes you will encounter a tooltip that says requirements not met, and when telling you what requirements, it just says none, and it's like, okay, well, screw you too, buddy. There are so many issues with making the UI easy to read, and that is despite me glazing that the UI makes it easy to like search stuff, to learn stuff, to filter stuff, right? It's incredibly so good in how it deals with all of this, and yet the UI is deeply troublesome in how it lets people read it and how it lets you enter the ship that is EU5 so that you can start captaining it. It is crazy painful. I'm also going to say it, by the way, so this is just one of these tiny tidbits, but you're going to encounter this as you go as well. People love the EU4 banners on the top. You just get spammed by banners. There's no, the fact that I can't like properly manipulate when I want to see this card and what I want to do about it, like the message settings in this game are so much more limited than in other games. It blows my mind. It is crazy. Now listen, I'm going to be the first one to give leeway to everything coming with UI, because UX artists, like UX designers, they are in a terrible spot. If you have a game that is this complex, good luck creating a UI that is actually good, right? Like it's impossible. It's so complex. But it doesn't change that you, as a new player, are going to find this UI and go, what the hell is even going on? Now, there's a lot to explore. If you love exploring, that's for you, right? Sometimes it's going to show you information that isn't really real, and you can explore that information if you feel like it. This is, yeah, it's kind of wild. Like for me personally, for example, the outliner, as much as it has settings, I actually think it's kind of it kind of sucks. Like it doesn't really contain much of what I care about and what I click there. There are other shortcuts that I use, but okay, that's neither here nor there. To stick to the UI for just one more second, if you look at UI, for example, of certain international organizations and situations, you're gonna find bugs. You're gonna see bugs. Like the Western Schism really loves just going, I don't know, is there any progress? I'm not telling you. I'm like, please, why don't you tell me? Simultaneously, when we look at the HRE, we basically have a body that is both the AI and the player really terrible to navigate in terms of understanding, hey, how do I get to pass this vote? What do I do here? There are very particular things that you can do, and then it's going to work out. But none of those things are going to be intuitive whatsoever. It is one of the best things the game does, that when you explore mechanic, once you learn it, you will go, that makes so much sense, I love this mechanic, God bless America. And while you're learning it, you're gonna be miserable. The Valley of Death, because of the lack of polish and the UI in this game, is so much deeper and longer than it needs to be. When I say Valley of Death, what I mean is a game that essentially says, hey, this is where you don't know anything about this game, you need to learn it, and you will feel kind of lost in it, and you'll feel painful, right? That's what I mean when I say Valley of Death. It is so much worse in this game. We're talking about 10, 20, 30 hours where you're going to feel this way. This is a complex game, don't get me wrong, but if it had more polish, you wouldn't have to suffer quite that much. Now, like I said, the AI and the player, I think both of those are really in a position where they will have a very, very bad time with certain international organizations and situations. Let's move on from bugs, I guess. Bugs are very clear, right? You just have a lot that doesn't really tell you, be it UI, be it gameplay. There's a lot going on there. Everything always circles back to bugs, okay? Now let's move on to performance. Performance is one of those things that, like, 2 months ago I would be like, wow, performance is incredible, guys. This is amazing. I did various playthroughs all the way to the end just because performance was nice. On my 7800X3D, I was basically running in a way where we were looking at like 37 seconds per year. Later on, towards the end of the game, we were looking at like 40 to 50 seconds. Incredible, good stuff. The first year now, the first 12 months in the game on my machine, which is the second or fourth best CPU on the market for grand strategy games, depending on how you count the 900. So is the 900 right? Let's put that aside. What I'm saying is, 1 year, the very first year, takes me 1 minute and 14 seconds. 30 years take me 57 minutes to play. Like to just observe a run through in this game. It is really, really slow. I know you might say, oh, why are you playing the game? Listen, there's gonna be lugs, okay? Let's be realistic about this. This game is incredibly deep. There's so much super cool stuff, but sometimes you're gonna be like, okay, there's not really much to do. Let's get to the next age so that I can have reformation, that I can do something, right? This will happen to you. And it's going to be a lot of waiting. That is the reality of this game right now. I don't know whether performance can get better. I don't know whether it can get worse, but I can tell you that right now, man, this is a rough one right now. It's not great. It does not feel good in any way whatsoever. Now, the next thing that I want to say is that I think the game generally looks pretty ugly. I mean, mostly the map. I don't understand it, the map. When I look at CK3, outrageously good. It looks so beautiful. Victoria 3 as well. This game, for one reason or another, has the weirdest looking map. It looks like one of those GPS maps that you feed into a system and then it just gives you a height map if you spit it out. Nothing on this map is really stylized. You don't have recognizable geography. None of that stuff is going on. It is the wobbliest kind of topography. I don't know why it was left this way, because they have this amazing thing where like, oh, look at this, I built a cathedral. There's a cathedral on the map. I can hover over it. It shows me a cathedral. And then they're also like, what if you made it real ugly though? I don't get it, okay? It does not make sense to me whatsoever, but there we are. Like I said, I'm not even going to use a single word in a negative sense about the UI visuals. I like the UI.
I don't know. What the fuck is this? Weird.
Hello, my name is eu5. I'm saying that because I just realized that most of you guys probably think my real life name is Habibi. No, it's not Habibi. My real life name is eu5. Anyways, most of you know me as Absol Habibi, and today we are continuing our Portugal campaign that we showcased on Friday? Yes, on Friday. If you haven't checked it out already, it will be in the top left as a suggested video here. But a quick recap for you guys, probably because you're too TikTok brain from watching Family Guy shorts and videos of people lying on Reddit.
eu5 married a man, M29, who is addicted to playing video games that are literally just a map.
We started as Portugal, a relatively poor nation that has unique advances to help them explore earlier and faster. We made friends with the other Catholic Iberians and began wars of expansion against Morocco and Granada. We eventually found Madeira, which was our first colonial charter, and got Aragon in a union, which meant defending it from France. We eventually found the New World in the early 1500s, started colonizing Brazil and the Caribbeans, then started a series of wars against Mesoamericans using a combination of professional armies and conquistadors. However, colonies are a big investment, requiring pops and money, as well as a lot of tender care and love and slaves to get them off the ground and get the extraction of resources out of the New World and back home. We then got another union over England, which made our rulers English and protected Aragon from France once again. This leads us to now, where we finally integrated Aragon, continued expansions against Morocco and Mesoamerica. We're starting to make really good money, but really this is just the start of the money making. Just wait until the end of this video to see how much our income skyrockets by the mid-1700s. And what better way to start this video than another war of conquest against Morocco. Morocco was very weak compared to earlier due to our conquests against them, but Tunis was still a bit of a threat. I should also mention this is the part of the game where I stop using levies and I'm on full professional armies due to having enough manpower from manpower generating buildings such as training fields and armories. A personal preference of mine, I like around mid 1500s where I just stop using levies altogether and investing a lot in those manpower generating buildings. Yes, they do have a cost in terms of goods maintenance, but those goods that they need create a price pressure on those goods, making the buildings that produce those goods, weaponsmiths, gunsmiths, have higher demands, making them more profitable. Morocco also didn't upgrade the next fort level bastions, which meant that I could assault every single fort that I went for, and I can easily piece them out.
Before the event with the Kingdom of Italy and Empire.
As a nation going for colonies in EU5, it's always fun looking at the population map mode and seeing your pops literally leaving and going to the new world as you select the locations and provinces that they come from. I also started colonizing North America, starting with Florida, but now I had some competition, mainly from Spain, France, and the Papal States. England was colonizing, but it was up in Canada. We can also quickly monitor how our colonial nations are doing in terms of income by checking on their attack space. And you can clearly see that our colonies that came from expansion are already making more money than the colonies that we have been growing for years. It's also cool to see that our naval investments are paying off, with even the Azores being really high control relatively to the other side of the nation because of this maritime presence. Even Aragon, the newly integrated land, had decent control. Although we could accept Catalan culture, we still could not accept Moroccan, and I didn't plan to do that at any point in this campaign, rather just assimilate them. But this led to a series of rebellions and revolts in Morocco that we had to deal with. This is a quick economic check in 1560, making a lot of money, mostly from trade. This is also when we became a great power, number 8 in the entire world. This made us eligible to become a hegemony, and we right away became the military hegemon due to having the largest standing army, and cultural hegemon for having the highest cultural influence. Being the military hegemon means we get more war score cost reduction from war, meaning we can take more land in peace deals, and being the cultural hegemon means that we can assimilate entire areas, essentially assimilating all of our Moroccan lands with just one cabinet action. It's only a matter of time now before the Moroccans are speaking Portuguese and eating bacalhau. It actually looks pretty good. One resource that we were constantly running in a deficit for was paper, and this was mainly because we upgraded the Portuguese ordinances government reform, which consumes more paper as a pop need and building need. So constantly we're building more and more paper makers, which we did get an upgraded version of in the Age of Reformation. We also used our Moroccan lands to make sugar plantations. These buildings on top of normal RGOs can produce the good and also employ slaves. Yes, employ slaves. And due to the Reformation situation being active, we got a bunch of chain of events that allowed us to send heretics and heathens to our New World colonies, which we did. Mass use of slaves, expulsion of heretics and heathens. Chat, are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies?
Nah, it's the 1500s! Let's just do another war of conquest against the Mesoamericans. Even though they were pretty high pop nations here, they were super technologically behind. Not even having castles, but instead stockades, which were super easy for our professional troops to assault. And it was even easier to beat them on the battlefield. Colonies were starting to get self-sufficient, but I still kept feeding them large amounts of money so they can keep properly building up, and that way when I declare war on the Mesoamerican nations, my colonies can just do all the work and I don't even have to send armies there. We beat up Morocco once again, this time using our unique unit, the Tercios, which are a really powerful unit. They have higher initiative, which means they join battles faster, take less morale damage, and deal more morale damage. Wait, is one of my viceroys Hussite? While we were fighting this war, something kind of bad happened to us. England as a nation decided to convert to Lutheranism. Why was this bad? Well, because now that they are Lutheran, and we both have the succession law that the heir needs to be the same religion as the ruler, this means that their heir will be different than our heir, essentially ending the union. So we had two options. Either we abandon the union when our ruler dies, or we also embrace Lutheranism and, I guess, keep the union. So what are the advantages of being Lutheranism? Well, just as a base of the religion, we do get an extra tax efficiency, which is quite nice, but we also get church aspects that we will take later on as we get more religious influence. The main disadvantage is that most of our country is still mainly Catholic, so we're going to have to convert a lot of people, which will upset pops and cause revolt, and our claims from the Treaty of Tordesillas are no longer valid. We also get some cool religious actions that we can do, but we're not going to do those until we first get our church aspects. And it was good that we embraced the Reformation quickly because our ruler died shortly after, and we maintained our union over England. Funnily enough, we also got a new dynasty, the Anjou dynasty, which was the same as France. Morocco was destroyed once again. Just look at those casualty differences. In 1584, we became the economic hegemon, making the most money out of any great power. Now, back in England, when we pushed England to our integration level so we can start annexing them, their estates did not like that, leading to a series of estate civil wars that we had to deal with, because if we didn't stop them, they would enthrone their own ruler and end our union. This England is becoming more of a problem than something good. Also, being multiple hegemons made England not like us as much as we needed them in order to start integrating them. And our recent conversion to Lutheranism started a bunch of religious turmoil events. I tried to fix this by converting and also suppressing Catholic revolts in our nation. I forgot to mention this earlier in this video or in the last video, but Portugal has the unique building, the Feitoria, which you can't build in Portugal, but you can build overseas, giving production efficiency and maritime presence. A really, really nice building to build in all of your coastal holdings outside of Portugal. While our expansions in the New World and also in Morocco were looking really good, I wanted to start looking at Asia. Now, I first tried to see if any nation would sell me a location in India, but no one would budge with the amount of money that we had. But what we could do was make spy networks and claim exploration CBs on different nations, targeting nations that had low alliance networks and would be easy to conquer. Meanwhile, in England,
how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Our aggressive expansions in Morocco and Mesoamerica started building quite a bit of antagonism with some nations, but we could improve relations to remove some of that antagonism. My ruler ended up dying, leaving the Portuguese Union in the hands of a child, and putting my consort, who was Native American, as our regency. I married her to see how the DNA would affect the children, you know, just having some Native American genes into the royal family pool. But now it was time to take our troops onto a little adventure, an Indian adventure, followed by a Malay adventure, giving us Singapura, which was a market center. This means we can send spices and cloves back home. If you read some of my comments in the last video, I talked about how I actually learned some lessons from this campaign. I actually did not play Portugal much while playtesting, and I wanted to save it for this video specifically. But I generally learned that as Portugal, it's not really the best idea to just colonize and focus on colonizing, but rather going to the old world and getting market centers and then extracting resources from Malaya, India, and China, and maybe even Japan. Land, I would maybe make small colonial nations, but then keep all of the market centers and locations with high trade advantage and trade capacity for myself, so I can get all of the profit and not share it with a colonial nation. Then with those locations, we would expand marketplaces, build a lieutenancy, later viceroyalty, for more control, and feitorias. And I also learned that if you take diplomatic focus in H3 and take the advances that give trade range as well as trade cost over sea, you can actually easily trade with these markets directly to your home markets back in Iberia.
We're gonna land in eastern Anatolia, or like southern Anatolia.
In 1612, we started the annexation of England. This was going to take a very long time. We did more wars of conquest in India and Mesoamerica.
We're going to land here, march up this way,
and found Japan, which we could already start trading with. This also triggered some events in India where they could get Portuguese merchants and giving us trade power in their lands without owning any land directly. And we noticed there was a huge surplus of slaves in our Singapore market, which we sent to Brazil.
Fleet docking rights.
Castile ended up declaring us as a rival as they coveted our lands in Iberia. But this really wasn't a problem for us, as now we could take them on alone. At this point, we had conquered a large chunk of Mesoamerica and started colonizing California. I wonder how England's doing right now. And now with money flowing into Lisboa, it was time to expand into Castile. We had a big professional army at this point, and Castile was just isolated and not having that many strong allies. I'm not going to beat around the bush here or try to hide anything, but there is a general, I think, problem with AI not really building as many professional troops as they can or should, rather, until like mid-1600s. And also, the AI doesn't prioritize military techs as much as they should. And this is the same problem in Victoria 3 and Stellaris, which also have like tech trees, also in Imperial Rome. But the AI doesn't like rush for all the good military techs like a human player would. So that means that you generally, after the first 2 ages, should have stronger armies than all your neighboring AIs if you're focusing the military techs and you're getting the proper military techs. In this case, Castile did have the right infantry and artillery military techs, but they didn't get the bastion military tech, just like Morocco, which meant that they were still on castles, which were very assaultable. Don't get me wrong though, Castile still built a lot of troops and still had a pretty sizable army, and they also were not making as much money as us because we were of course bringing in trade from all over the world. Also, I don't know how people would feel when they start EU5 for the first time and they're just getting rolled by AIs rushing military techs. So that's why I say, I mean, like, is it that big of a problem? I really don't know. This is the peace deal I ended up taking from Castile, connecting Andalusia to Portugal. We also collected a bunch of prisoners from this war, which we ended up ransoming to reduce our antagonism, a really cool mechanic. We ended up accepting Castilian culture, but just like Aragon and Catalan was cheaper to accept due to being in the same culture group. But with the conquest of Sevilla, that means another market center under our control. I probably shouldn't have left fantasy formables on. It was now the age of absolutism. Time to get more crown power, integrate faster, increase our control, and reign in our estates. This also meant 2 new situations that start in this age. The Golden Age of Piracy, which allows you to create pirate subjects and also pirates become more effective, and the Columbian Exchange, which allows you to create new RGOs in the Old World and the New World, switching between where you can place them. This means that we can take highly coveted goods in the New World and start producing them in the Old World, such as chili, or coca, or tobacco. Climate and vegetation play a factor here. You can't just make tobacco anywhere or chili anywhere, but right away we can introduce chili into Morocco and just start pumping that out since Chile is a very, very nice RGO. And also, we can take coffee and start producing it in Colombia and in Brazil, a good that doesn't even exist in the New World, but now we bring it there and we can ship it back to Europe. Age of Absolutism seems amazing, except for the part where we have to deal with the core and country disaster. Much like EU4, going through this disaster means more rebellions and unhappy estates, which means more rebellions. Also less money from the states, since we're unable to tax them when they're this disloyal. But be careful, don't take loans, because each loan reduces crown power. But also, like EU4, this disaster is actually good in the long run if we push towards absolutism value, since we can push our crown power very heavily, and also revoke privileges from estates using money instead of stability. During this disaster, we can really focus on getting more crown power through buildings such as counting houses and minting offices, as well as unlocking a new road type, the modern road, since more control will also lead to more crown power. But here comes the rebellions, first starting with a noble civil war. This first war wasn't that bad. You know, we just had to occupy some territories, fight some rebels. I did kind of regret upgrading forts in preparation for Castile's war, because I couldn't rush them. Now, in order to end this disaster, there's 3 conditions. There's 1, you let it go for 20 years, and that causes it to be a stalemate. 2, you reach 55% crown power, you have less than 15 estate privileges, and you're at least 80% absolutism value. And then the third is that all of your estates are happy with you and you are at least 80% liberalism. I've never really gone the liberalism path because I always just use this as an opportunity to get as much crown power as possible, because that's the good part about this disaster, is that it gives you an opportunity at the cost of like rebellions and upset estates to really increase your crown power. And as we covered in the last part, crown power is really, really good. Increases your trade income, increases your cabinet efficiency, gives you a lot of buffs. It's amazing. Also in this time period, we get another situation, the Little Ice Age. This is going to make our winters longer and reduce our food production, potentially leading to starvation. Then after dealing with our first rebellion, a pretender rose against us, leading to another civil war. But look at our control now, it has increased so much compared to the last 50 years. And of course, we need to do another tax-based check. With the manufacturers institution, we're now producing so much more. And after many revolts, we finally got victory over court and country. Something to mention, while this was going on, I missed a nobles' revolt in England, losing them as a union. I could go restore the union, but England has been so much trouble, and they're going to take so long to annex. It's not even worth it to me at this point to spend so much time and effort dealing with them. But with that disaster now done, it's time to invade Castile once again. This time we want to connect our land from Granada to Aragon. It's now time to take advantage of our government reform and move our capital with our new king. Lisboa has served us really well over the years, but now with us consolidating more Spanish land and also getting more Portuguese in Morocco, a better location for our capital would be in Sevilla. But with the amount of money we're making at this point, I could not spend it all myself without intense micro, so I turned on automation of building buildings and RGOs, and then also built on top of that. Just because you automate doesn't mean that you can't build yourself, it just means the AI builds and then you can also build on top. More proximity cost reduction advances means that we're going to get even more control, more taxes, more money. And we are on our last church aspect. I chose a church aspect that gave 10% literacy, another one that gives crown power, and another one that gives war score cost and belligerent gain and antagonism reduction. There's so many choices for Protestant church aspects, well, Lutheran church aspects, and it was honestly quite hard deciding which one to go for. And this is what
honestly,
our
maybe if we just
colonial
wait
empire
for,
was looking like in
the Ottomans to
1666.
peace out Albania.
Another 2 wars
We might
against
not try and take
Castile,
anything from
and
us.
this is
It's
what
not
we
even a
looked like.
primary core
Another
area.
benefit of being Lutheran is that we can accept Lutheran pops from places they're being
But we need to
prosecuted
improve with,
and bring them
people
in
outside
to
of
our
our
lands, getting more pops.
kind of
And we
immediate
brought
sphere.
more New World goods such as
So
tobacco,
that we
chilies,
can,
and potatoes into
What the
Iberia. Most of the time when I got the new RGO, I would just upgrade it to the max level, and this would produce so much money, not just on tax base because these goods were such high value, but also on trade. We also spread coca to our African colonies, which was also incredibly profitable. We also used this opportunity to get more coffee in Brazil and Colombia. I touched on it before, but now we were really pumping out the coffee production and spreading it to Iberia first, then to other Europeans after for profit. And as I started finishing culture converting Morocco, I noticed that the city styles changed from like Arab, Middle Eastern style to European style. You can see that it's almost all of Morocco now is Portuguese as primary culture. Also through the Manufacturers Institution, we unlocked lacquerware manufactories. This is a good that only gets produced in China or in the Far East in the first 4 ages, but in the 5th age as a European, you can build it, and these buildings are so profitable. Using the Colombian exchange situation, I basically turned all of my African holdings into coca production facilities to pump coca to send to Europe. Yeah, I definitely think we're the baddies here, chat. But I didn't like how much of the coca the Africans were getting, so I decided, you know what, it's time to make my own market center here that's exclusive to just ship coca. And then Australia, which I was colonizing in the meanwhile, I turned into a gigantic tobacco farm. And of course, we can't forget growing more chili in Iberia. Must sell more chilies. This exploitation of goods literally made us richer than the next 3 nations combined. Our next steps were to continue destroying Castile, who is allied to Scotland now, which we navally invaded. Surprisingly, Scotland had 400k troops, which was more than England, but we still won, getting just enough land to form Spain. Cool thing with nation formables in EU5 is that you get all the new advances on top of your previous nation's advances. So all of these advances right here, we get them on top of the Portuguese advances, and since we form Spain as Portugal, we get a different flag than if you form Spain as Castile, or as Aragon, or as Navarra. Oh god, what have I done? This is the ugliest colonial nation I've ever seen in my life. Alright, so last steps here for this video. We now just want to get as many market centers outside of Iberia as we could get. We started with Sofala, which we took from Rosvi Empire, which was he didn't even have professional armies yet. And then a war in Malaya. Then another war in India. And another war in India. And then a war against the Khmer Empire, where we took Angkor. And with all the money flooding into Iberia, this is what Iberia consistently looked like. Just a million buildings building at the same time, all the time. Looking good. Then we had to take some land in China, you know, of course, for Portuguese Port City LARP. I didn't take Macau here, but I did take Guangzhou, which is another market center. And then finally the Age of Revolutions in 1737. This age means rebellious colonial nations, so probably a lot of colonial nation wars. And since we had insane literacy, we would have probably also been the revolutionary target. And my last 2 final wars was a war against Japan, which was actually insanely hard. They had like 300,000 troops and were up to date in tech, so I had to send many troops there. But with that ends this campaign for me. I took Izumi, another market
Let's
center.
see what we lost in this war.
So there you go, the end of this campaign. I didn't go into a lot of details about a lot of things, but I'm going to leave that as stream content. And later on, I'm going to make specific videos.
And I do think that I'm gonna just basically
this is more of
abandon.
just
No,
like
abandon. We're not gonna abandon
taste
these
or
folders,
a
but
flavor of the content. You can check me out on twitch.tv/AbsoHabibi. Of course, like I was saying earlier, because we're in the age of revolutions and we have big colonial nations, most of our colonial nations are incredibly disloyal and probably going to start triggering colonial revolution wars if we continue playing. We ended the campaign as military hegemon, economic hegemon, cultural hegemon, naval hegemon, and of course our final income screen with our tax base. Just look at that line. And here is our final control, and some other stats will show on the screen. So for those of you guys that are interested in seeing what my nation looked like by the end of this campaign. So enjoy that. Check out other videos if you haven't already. More EU5 content coming, etc., etc. And check me out live on twitch.tv/AbsoHabibi. I'll be streaming a lot of EU5 very soon.
Dude, Spain is fucked up. Okay, we're gonna improve with, we need to abandon some of these nations. So who are we guaranteeing the knights? I'm gonna abandon them. Pro guarantee. Supporting the So in that case, actually, let me pull up another video for this.
Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be going through my top 5 picks for the best nations to be learning 5 on. For this, we've chosen nations with each a little bit of a different playstyle going for them, but generally speaking, we have 4 to 5 characteristics we're looking for in each of these nations. First, they have good economic prospects and the ability to build quite a few buildings. That way you can engage with the gardening aspect of the game, and you're not constantly waiting off gold. It is preferable that they have one market, and exactly one market, and that they are the only member of the market. That way the effect you have on the market can be a little bit more transparent, instead of having a bunch of other members or having multiple markets. Second, we're looking for something where there is an expansionary plan and also ability. So you have to be able to fight some of your neighbors and also have some targets that you want to go for. Third, we want a nation with at least some amount of flavor, preferably, and this can help to scaffold plans, which is our 4th characteristic. We want to have a just general plan of something to play for in the first campaign that is sensible, maybe thematic, and is something that is achievable by a new player. And finally, we will offer a quick tip for each nation. The purpose of the tips is, generally speaking, to navigate one of the challenges that this nation may have as a result of their unique position. First up, we have the sandbox of Europe, Hungary, which is a quite powerful nation that is pretty good for whatever playstyle you want to go with, and is just generally speaking strong, and is centrally located in all of Europe, giving it a good position to engage with a lot of different countries. Economically speaking, you do have really, really good resources in the silver and gold, and so economics is relatively easy if you expand these very aggressively, and you get to play the mini game of the economic simulator in a way that's kind of interesting. They have a couple of rivers that flow through Hungary, which are very good at protecting control, which can help give you an understanding of the system, and a lot of land
we're gonna try and take
where you
Urbino
work in order to develop
and Ravenna
and
back.
decide where to build and
Actually,
these types
maybe
of
let's
things.
keep all this.
They have their own market, and they are the majority member of that market, which makes a lot of things, economically speaking, much more straightforward. They are a little bit light on content, which is why they're a bit of a sandbox nation, but militarily speaking, they have enough population and cavalry bonuses to be able to fight anyone in the region, although the Ottomans, if already grown, and Bohemia should be able to provide some sort of resistance. A path of expansion might be subjugating the Balkans and expanding into the Balkans, trying to unify as much gold and silver as possible, because there's quite a lot of these available in the Balkans and also into Bohemia. Notably, Bohemia is a similar version of Hungary in terms of its advantages, and they just happen to be in the HRE, so if you wanted to play with HRE content, Bohemia would be an excellent choice as well. Two very important notes for Hungary. In terms of laws, you start off with the ban of export of gold and silver. Gold and silver are your primary economic advantage. You want to build lots of trade capacity and lots of gold and silver and export it all. So what you will want to do likely in your first parliament is use ask for law change in order to get off of this law so that you can kind of spin up your economy to begin with. Also notable for Hungary is that institutions tend to be something that they struggle with because you don't naturally get a lot of inflowing trade to your market from the places that spawn institutions, and so you will want to make sure that you import a healthy amount of goods from Galicia. That way you can generate your institutions and
we're gonna build some more
relatively
ships.
early.
We completely lost our navy in that war with the
Small
Ottomans.
start. We have Portugal, where your focus will largely be
that.
economic. You
And
have
I
all the
think
resources
from there,
you need, even in your small nation, for
I
the
don't know if we're gonna
fundamental
wanna build a
gameplay loops where you have
combat
iron
fleet
for
or
tools, wool for
because the
textile
problem is, like, we don't really
industries,
need to
and
build
lumber
a
make
lot
sure
of,
your RGOs stay cheap.
trade
And
ships.
you also have a very quick
So I think we
options
already have
for
a lot of,
colonization relatively
control
early to
over-
play a bit of an expansionary game, and you have a lot of content in that
we
regard.
don't.
As far as expansion goes, you can expand into the Greb, where you can make a great use of your unique building
But in
with
Venice,
tendency
we have-
to gain extra infrastructure control over there,
Not even-
and you can eventually
not
build
even
plantations in North
capturing
Africa
Venice.
as well to get a lot of value.
Not this.
Some tips here as Portugal. You do start off with a really good tax bonus and tax efficiency from your monarchy, but your budget at game start is actually incredibly rough. A big portion of this is the fortification maintenance. You should probably just delete every single fort except for the one in the capital in order to reduce this to around 1, which will really improve your margin. Secondly, while it is tempting to colonize or explore very early and you are in range to do so, 10 ducats a month is an enormous amount to be paying for this. And so I would recommend waiting until this is at most 20% of your net income, so you're making 50 ducats a month, and ideally probably making 100 ducats a month. You will not get beaten to these places, and you can go up quickly and then switch to exploring.
I mean, you might if
and then
if
start
you're playing in
settling.
multiplayer,
Still
you
be
probably
the
could
first
get
one
beaten
there.
into those places
And
if you're
finally,
playing in
you do
multiplayer and
have this
someone's playing for
kind of
Greenland.
tentative, dangerous position
I don't know,
that
I can see it
you really do
happening.
not want Castile getting angry with you. So you want to improve relations with Castile, and also if Castile rivals anyone, you do not want to play nice with those people. In particular, there is this situation of incorporations and the cores. Castile starts out with a core owned by Aragon, so you probably don't want to play nice with Aragon and just avoid interacting with them. Aragon also tends to get dogpiled by France, and so you just mainly want to keep to yourself. Also, taking the land in Morocco and Granada is dangerous from the perspective of upsetting Castile, but it is generally safe to take stuff in North Africa if you end up fighting. If you end up getting an alliance with Castile, which is ideal, you can use influence actions and favors to call them into your wars, and this can be an easier way to expand more easily in North Africa if you wanted to go that route. For a similar vibe, Mali is an interesting choice for being a strong colonial choice that is more economically focused. However, they have some difficulties in terms of getting institutions and also the unique disaster that they have. For a ton of content and a run that is thrust straight into the military action, you have England. Now, England, economically speaking, you have your own market. You have the essentials. You have wool, iron, and also lumber. So getting the essential loops up and going is very, very straightforward. And then you will have the immediate action.
Probably Burgundy, since there's no hurry.
Or for your primary content, which, while challenging, is something that
remember with Bohemia, just to kind of use Burgundy as a buffer from France while we expand into the Adriatic.
Forming a new country requiring that you annex Wales, your subject, and the Isle of Man, or you take a
I guess in a way, we're using Bohemia and Bohemia is using Burgundy. Meanwhile, England will kind of contribute to the neighboring
is going to be an enormous struggle, and as long as it's under 25%, this will give you significant difficulties. And so there's several things you want to do. Unique to you, you do want to get off of the English Parliament early, even though it's very strong later on, and likely do something like favor the ruler. Also, you can assign to your armies and navy your crown characters, probably the king to the navy, but putting these guys in charge will give you a very significant bonus to your crown power. Also critical for England, as well as Portugal, is going to be the development of your naval infrastructure, which will involve pushing your naval value, which you can do with the cabinet action, change societal values, as well as by assigning estate privileges that will give you a trend towards these values in general. You also want to be active about pushing values in general. Also very important is going to be maritime presence, which is greatly going to affect your ability to push control over your nation via the seas. In order to affect this, you're going to want to use the patrol the seas interaction with your navies, which will cause them to stay in the naval provinces, the individual naval provinces, pushing up maritime control there until it's up to around 100, at which point they will move to the next maritime location. This will reduce the amount of cost that you have to pay in order to push your control to your various locations by something like 80%. Finally, when the 100 Years' War starts, you probably will look to swap onto a better general than your heir, and also make sure that when you raise the levies, you get as quickly as possible all of the levies across the strait with help of your ships that you have, but also with naval levies. That way you can have your army all together. This is an essential aspect of being able to defeat France, and you will probably want to go for quick pieces with them, just winning a couple battles and then getting out, rather than trying to siege down a bunch of forts. It's going to be more of a long-term struggle, and in particular, early on, you have a little bit of sensitivity and weakness, as you have far fewer pops than France does.
General's gaming, he's pretty good. He's got a lot of good guides and like meta analysis of the game.
They have very strong cavalry.
Been following.
The French side of things for the 100 Years' War is also an excellent choice.
I just specify what I'm talking about because I don't know if everyone popping into the chat is from
EU4
or whatever, or Paradox games in general, because I don't always play. I've played a lot of stuff on my channel, and it's not all.
Generally a choice among many Italians.
It's not all.
The Italian content for learning the game,
Paradox
I think,
stuff.
is quite nice. You generally have large economies, so anyone who has some number of country events and some number of country bonuses is going to be a decent shout for learning the game, with one exception in Italy, and that exception is the Papal States. Don't play the Papal States. So Italy will have two major situations that lead to a lot of fighting, and the situations are kind of a scaffold for content, and that is the Ghibellines and Guelphs, as well as the Italian wars, leading to a lot of fighting. Now, you have relatively urbanized areas. The location ranks have a ton of towns and cities, which gives you additional economic activity or opportunities, but a whole lot of the people in here are going to be part of the HRE, which is going to lead to a lot of increased antagonism, also a relatively high pop, tax basis, and development, and so expansion is a little bit more expensive. For Italy, a characteristic that you're going to have is you're going to want to generally subjugate a lot of people and then annex them later. And so this is a fundamental play pattern for expansion that's particularly particularly pronounced in Italy.
Oh, what the fuck? I need to recruit an army.
As Milan specifically, you are the major northern power, and I think that this sets you up for a pretty nice campaign in terms of the overall trajectory with a very nice sub-goals. In particular, domestically speaking, you start off with a very, very bad Visconti city-states, and so getting off of this is critically important, but it takes 176 stab to get off of, and so you're going to have to contend with pushing values.
I think we're going to
You're going to have to push towards plutocracy to weaken the nobility to make it cheaper to pull off of that reform. From a macro perspective, you're going to want to subjugate many of your neighbors, and you're going to have special content for doing so, expanding into the various Lombard areas here in the north, securing yourself a power base, and then you'll probably want to, as a goal, want to take the market capital of Genova, either keeping it there or moving it back to Milan, into the capital. From more of a macro perspective, you will become strong in the north, and Naples will become strong in the south. Naples also a very good candidate.
So we're starting to get diminishing returns with our trade ships in the Venice nodes. We're in Spoleto, Istria, and here. Patero. What we're going to do from there is we're going to...
You can think of food as a resource that buys urbanization. The more food you have, the more you can urbanize. In particular, Italy starts out very urbanized, so its food is
we're going to focus on
very quickly.
expanding here,
that as you expand, your market tends to consist more of locations that you own. So if you own the general market and you expand, you are going to pull more locations.
Our goal is essentially going to take all that eventually.
Has very little
And
so if you
East
expand
Coast,
a lot centrally,
then maybe
you're likely
eventually
to run afoul of food
move
issues.
over here, but with like
So
trade
how to
cities
deal
like this
so
one.
this will be a concern for you to pay
See,
attention
with
to
Venice, you can
regards to the
like, for
market you
example,
control.
trade.
An important way of doing this is to stack
here,
modifiers.
great
If you
trade
look at
city.
Burgundy, we can see that they have a wheat here, which produces 8 food. Stacking this with other things, such as irrigation, or if you're rural, a farming village, will allow you to make more use out of the food that you have. And also, with stuff like the farming village, you can develop more food in terms of production.
We're behind on military.
This will allow you to produce more livestock, which produce food. And so understanding this will help you through difficult times in Italy, depending on how you expand. And if you urbanize a lot, the food is something to contend with. As an honorable mention, 2 nations outside of Europe that are particularly strong and will lend towards a more straightforward and easy experience will be Vijayanagara in India and Korea over here if you wanted to play a bit more of a quiet game like Portugal and focus a little bit more on the eco. Korea has a very robust economy and can do a lot of things. Finally, in first place, we have the Ottomans. Now, you don't have your own market, but you will very quickly have your own market because they are so explosive at expansion, and really they check every other box with the rise of the Turks situation, which serves as both content and scaffolding for your expansion, first into Anatolia, building up a base of power, and then into the Byzantine Empire to crush them, to take the grand city of Constantinople, and to establish an empire. So, 2 tips here as the Ottomans. First, prepare cities very early on to get the event to subjugate them. Don't bother attacking them early. And second of all, you're going to want to really play around control as a mechanic. Control really scales a lot of your powerful things, or basically all the value you get out of locations is very keyly and important to have. You'll want to pay attention to everyone, but specifically the Ottomans will give flavor events to move their capital. And so, if you want to build a place with high control, you build up a huge economy there, let's say in Bursa, and then you're invited to move your capital. This is a little bit of a trap, and you'll be invited to move your capital to Adrianopolis or Leningrad or Dying. You want to both prepare for this if you're going to do it, and or possibly not do it, and instead look to keep the capital here or prepare for a move to Constantinople/Istanbul. And so the way to prepare for this is making sure you have a whole bunch of roads, building in some of the places that are across the way, and maybe conquering them first, waiting to go after the Byzantines after you have established a bit of maritime presence and can project control back to Anatolia, and or if need be, and you want to move the capital, for more flavor reasons, you can, in the old capital, use the cabinet action to increase province control to help get at least some value out of those places that you built up really tall and powerful to begin with. Well, that's our top 5 list for best countries to learn European Renaissance 5 on. If you like this video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the YouTube algorithm stuff. We are, for the next week and a half, going to be producing or putting out a ton of European Renaissance 5 content. But also, if you want to support the channel further, and you're planning on buying the game for full price, a really good way to support the channel is to order, pre-order, or regular order through the web store on Paradox. This will, if you use our code generalist in all caps, give me 12% of the sale, a very generous cut from Paradox.
Yeah, so if you guys are gonna buy the game, I mean, I don't really care. I don't have a code yet, so you know, it's all good. But no, I don't have a code, so just feel free to use that guy's code if you're gonna buy the game. I don't really care either way though. But you know, he's a good YouTuber, he's a good guy. I think he's got good information on his videos when you play the game, so.
Hey folks, today to celebrate the launch of EU5 on the 4th of November, Paradox has sponsored me to do a video covering the game, and today I want to showcase to you my favourite system from EU5. If you are coming to this game from EU4, you will have seen a similar system previously. That was the National Idea system, but today we're going to cover the Societal Value system, one of the best systems in EU5, and it really makes the game play out different ways, even if you do play as the same country. So as I said, this system was in EU4, you can see a version of this on the screen at the moment. This was the National Idea system, and this allowed you to specialise your realms in different ways. You could have quantity ideas, quality ideas for your army, so did you have a small special army or a more widespread army that maybe wasn't quite as good. You could have economic ideas or religious ideas. Do you want to lean into the economy or into the religious side of your realm? And these bonuses were very good. There was obviously the meta builds, which ones you would do generally in every one of your campaigns. And this was one of the problems I had with this system, and that is, as I said, it was meta builds. Always take innovative, always take naval ideas. And then the other problem this system had for me anyway is that the choices weren't exclusive, so you could get both a defensive ideas realm but then also an offensive ideas realm. So you were seen in the game as both being excellent on attack but then also excellent on defense, but it didn't really make much sense to me that you could be seen as both of these at the same time. And that is something that has changed in EU5. You now have this Societal Value system. You can see a screenshot of this on the screen at the moment. You'll find this under the government tab in game, and what this allows you to do is change how the nation plays in every campaign you do. You could play as a land-focused defensive France maybe. In the next campaign you do, you could be a naval colony building France. And all these different societal values give you different bonuses that do aid you in those. And also the best thing about this system, and one thing I always enjoy in video games, is that what you do in a game is then shown in the game as your nation. So if you play a realm that is seen as innovative, with free trade, outward-looking, naval, you're going to be very good at doing more colonization, more trading over the oceans, and just having a lot more sea power. If you then play the same nation as maybe traditionalist, inward-looking, offensive, land-focused, you could play a very kind of confined realm that then expanded over land. The bonuses you've got would lean into that as well. And in this video, I want to give you a quick overview of all the different societal values and the different bonuses that they give you. You can also see in this screenshot that blue bar, well, this system works from -100 to +100. So if you're a -100, it will be fully centralized, for example, and if you're a +100, you'll be seen as fully decentralized. And that bar is moved by a variety of different things in game. There's events, buildings. Your parliament can also change this. If you're asking for favors from your estates, they can say, yes, I'll give you those votes, or maybe I wanted to move towards free trade, for example, and that can push in different ways as well. As with everything we see in EU5, all these systems are intertwined together, and actions you take in one part of the game affect other parts of the game. And I think it makes EU5 a lot more dynamic, a lot more natural how it plays out. As I've said, how you play your realms is then shown in games with the nations, and they'll see you in that way as well. And you can move it, like I say, from one way to another. It is very hard though, it's like turning a big tanker around in the ocean. You can't just flip from being serfdom to free subject. You would have to gradually pull your nation in that direction. And then also other nations that have similar societal values to you would then also get opinion bonuses of you. So there's a lot of different ways this interacts with your game. But anyway, let's get into the different societal values, and you can see how the system works. So the first ones here are centralization versus decentralization. As it says here, a centralized country may be more efficient, while a decentralized country is more resilient. And you can see for some of these societal values, being on either end of the scale gives you different bonuses in the same area. So for this example, centralization is plus 30% counter-espionage, because everything is centralized, so it's easier for you to ward off spies. If you're decentralized, it is minus 30% counter-espionage, because your realm is more dispersed, so it's easy for people to get in and spy on you. And you can see that is a 60% swing between the two options, so that is really going to have a big effect on your different campaigns as you play through them. The same thing there for war exhaustion. Plus 3 war exhaustion, that's not very good. War exhaustion is a terrible modifier to have in this game, and for that reason, if you think you're going to be doing a lot of warfare, maybe you'll go decentralized. If you're gaining subjects, that's going to help you with those. Obviously the war exhaustion is better, so that means you can do more wars and it will affect your realm less. And then also your estates are just that little bit happier as well. So you can see the two different sides of this one. The next one is traditionalist versus innovative. A traditionalist country prioritizes stability and tradition over all of the values, while an innovative country wants a more literate population and faster adoption of a new institution. And you can see again here, depending on what you're trying to do in your campaign, are you trying to get the innovations as quick as possible? Well, you will move towards innovative if you can. You've also got more cultural influence, more literacy, that's going to help you do more research as well. Whereas in that example, your stability is harder to do. Whereas for a traditionalist, your estates are happier, your cultural tradition is better, so you're better defending against other cultures, and also your stability investment cost is a lot cheaper as well. So if you're trying to do a lot of things that cost you stability, such as doing a lot of no CB wars, maybe you'll go towards traditionalist. Your estate will also be happier, but then obviously the institution side of things is worse. So you're going to have a lot of problems maybe later on in the game when you don't have the same institutions other people have, but maybe you can get those early gains and then try to pull yourself towards innovative later in the game and then kind of catch back up to people as well. The next one is spiritualist versus humanist. The spiritualist country is pretty much organized around its clerics, while a humanist country is more tolerant towards heretics and heathen religions. This one is very easy to see what the difference is. If you go towards spiritualist, all around religion, as they said, you can convert people better, you can have more clerics, you have less antagonism if it's related to religion, and then also tolerance to true faith +2. If you're playing
I think if we
away from religion in this campaign,
declare war on
assimilation speed is better,
Serbia,
people to your culture so much easier.
we probably can get some good territorial gains here. Unless they get an ally in the meantime.
Well. So if you have different religions in your realm, they will be slightly happier with you. The next one is plutocracy versus aristocracy, and you can see an aristocratic country is all about having leadership from those with noble blood, while a plutocracy country takes their leadership from the richest and most powerful. Obviously both good ideas with no drawbacks, and you can see for aristocracy more nobles. The nobles are more powerful, however, but also your discipline is better. Generally your nobles are focused around gaining power and empowering your army, and you can see that in those bonuses. For the plutocracy side, more burghers. Your burghers are more powerful, unfortunately, but also gives you tax efficiency, and the expected cost of court is cheaper as well. So your court is cheaper, you can do more trading, you can have more burghers, which means they get more bonuses as well. And if you're leaning maybe into a more trade kind of game, that is one that you might pick up instead. The next one is serfdom versus free subjects. This one again, pretty obvious. A country with high serfdom is about exploiting the peasants as much as possible, while a country with free subjects treats peasants as human beings. And you can see again, serfdom all around.
Unlock the next unit and
you're working harder. Supply limit is also increased, so you can see this affects your warfare as well. And then for free subjects, less tax for the peasants, but they also use less food, they promote quicker, and also monthly prosperity is better because they're happier.
so I think we're gonna do
and again, you can see here if you're playing through a campaign, maybe you'll need to
kind of playing more defensive anyway, so we'll do
buildings and need different population types. Maybe you'll go into free subjects. If you're playing a larger realm that isn't as interested in that, you could go serfdom. You'll get raw material output being improved. Also, you'll be able to tax the peasants more, and you'll probably have more peasants. If you're just building a lot of RGOs, getting things out of the land itself, you'd probably go towards serfdom because the output of that would be that much better. The next one is mercantilism versus free trade. A mercantilist country wants to protect the market price of the produced goods in their country, while a country focused on free trade wants to benefit more from trades around the world. So again, two different ways you can play this out. For mercantilism, trade maintenance is cheaper, but your efficiency is worse. You have market protection, which means your market that you have is less susceptible to being squished down in size, and then also expected cost for a market for foreign traders plus 10% makes it that little bit harder for them to trade into your market. And then the opposite of that is free trade. Your trade advantage is better, which means you're further up the list of trading nations, so you get to pick your goods first. Also, your trade efficiency is better. Your market protection is obviously worse because you've got free trade, so you don't mind if your market necessarily gets shrunk down because you generally have more trading in other markets as well. So it won't affect you quite as bad, but if you are trying to keep hold of your own market space, you probably would go mercantilist and then burger trade capacity plus 100% because the burgers can trade on top of you. And that might seem bad, but then also you're taxing them, so any money they make, you'll get a cut of that as well. So overall, I think you probably make more money out of free trade, but mercantilism will protect the items you have in your market and make it so other nations can't take them out of your market that much easier. The next one is belligerent versus conciliatory. A belligerent country is one that does not worry about the opinion of other countries. A conciliatory country...
You know, I just realized the YouTube thing probably kicked off the...
So basically, they'll be nice with people, and maybe they will willingly join us in the future. And you can see the different values here. So belligerent, if you're trying to do a lot of warfare, your casus belli are created quicker, your antagonism modifiers are that much better for you, your war score cost is minus 10%, so you have to do 10% less things to get the same thing as somebody who doesn't have that modifier. Your diplomatic reputation obviously minus 5, making it very hard to get alliances, different things, because everyone sees you as being a bit of a bully. And then spy network creation plus 10%, so you can also spy on people easier, which gives you more casus belli, all those kind of bonuses as well. And then if you are seen as conciliatory, efficiency of our cabinet is better, so that means they're just better at doing the job. You can't just flip from being serfdom to free subject. You would have to gradually pull your nation in that direction. And then also other nations that have similar societal values to you would then also get opinion bonuses of you. So there's a lot of different ways this interacts with your game. But anyway, let's get into the different societal values and you can see how the system works. So the first ones here are centralization versus decentralization. As it says here, a centralized country may be more efficient, while a decentralized country is more resilient. And you can see for some of these societal values, being on either end of the scale gives you different bonuses in the same area. So for this example, centralization is plus 30% counter-espionage, because everything is centralized, so it's easier for you to ward off spies. If you're decentralized, it is minus 30% counter-espionage, because your realm is more dispersed, so it's easy for people to get in and spy on you. And you can see that is a 60% swing between the two options, so that is really going to have a big effect on your different campaigns as you play through them. The same thing there for war exhaustion. Plus 3 war exhaustion, that's not very good. War exhaustion is a terrible modifier to have in this game, and for that reason, if you think you're going to be doing a lot of warfare, maybe you'll go decentralized. If you're gaining subjects, that's going to help you with those. Obviously the war exhaustion is better, so that means you can do more wars and it will affect your realm less, and then also your estates are just that little bit happier as well. So you can see the two different sides of this one. The next one is traditionalist versus innovative. A traditionalist country prioritizes stability and tradition over all other values, while an innovative country wants more limited population and faster adoption of a new
Then what we're gonna do is wait for them to march on Spleto, and then we're gonna land in Zara,
well, you will move towards innovative if you can. We've also got more
siege these two, then
literacy, that's going to help
to get this from here.
Whereas in that example,
Well, I guess it's never progressive either, but like...
Whereas for traditionalists, your estates are happier, your cultural tradition is better, so you're better defending.
Mainly because I want to have the mountains as a defense in case they attack.
Is a lot cheaper as well. So if you're trying to do
And also I don't want there to be anywhere for them to
such as doing a lot of no CD wars, maybe you'll go towards traditionalist. Your estate will also be happier, but then obviously the institution side of things is worse. So you're going to have a lot of problems maybe later on in the game when you don't have the same institutions other people have. Or maybe you can get those early gains and then try to pull yourself towards innovative later in the game and then kind of catch back up to people as well. The next one is spiritualist versus humanist. A spiritualist country is pretty much organized around its clerics, while a humanist country is more tolerant towards heretics and heathen religions. This one is very easy to see what the difference is. If you go towards spiritualist, all around religion, as they
I think we're going to betray Austria, to be honest.
But
But we are going to still try and keep relations up with them for now, so we can eventually join the
Go away from religion in this campaign. You can see assimilation speed is better, so you can convert people to your culture so much easier, but because you aren't focused on religion, it's very hard to convert people. You can also see tolerance of heretics and heathens a little bit better as well. So if you have different religions in your realm, they will be slightly happier with you. The next one is plutocracy versus aristocracy, and you can see an aristocratic country is all about having leadership from those with noble blood, while a plutocracy country takes their leadership from the richest and most powerful. Obviously both good ideas with no drawbacks, and you can see for aristocracy more nobles. The nobles are more powerful, however, but also your discipline is better. Generally your nobles are focused around gaining power and empowering your army, and you can see that in those bonuses. For the plutocracy side, more burghers. The burghers are more powerful, unfortunately, but also gives you tax efficiency and the expected cost of court is cheaper as well. So your court is cheaper, you can do more trading, you can have more burghers, which means they get more bonuses as well, and if you're leaning maybe into a more trade kind of game, that is one that you might pick up instead. The next one is serfdom versus free subjects. This one again, pretty obvious. A country with high serfdom is about exploiting the peasants as much as possible, while a country with free subjects treats peasants as human beings, and you can see again, serfdom, all around getting more tax from the peasants, more output, you're working them harder. Supply limit is also increased, so you can see this affects your warfare as well. And then for free subjects, less tax for the peasants, but they also use less food, they promote quicker, and also your monthly prosperity is better because they're happier. Yes, they're working, but they're not quite under the thumb as they are with serfdom. And again, you can see here, if you're playing through a campaign, maybe you're leading to promote people up quicker, maybe you're leading into a campaign where you're building a lot of buildings that need different population types, maybe you'll go into free subjects. If you're playing a larger realm that isn't as interested in that, you could go serfdom, you'll get raw material output being improved, also you'll be able to tax the peasants more, and you'll probably have more peasants. If you're just building a lot of RGOs, getting things out of the land itself, you'd probably go towards serfdom, because the output of that would be that much better. The next one is mercantilism versus free trade. A mercantilist country wants to protect the market price of the produced goods in their country, while a country focused on free trade wants to benefit more from trades around the world. So again, two different ways to play this out. For mercantilism, trade maintenance is cheaper, but your efficiency is worse. You have market protection, which means your market that you have is less susceptible to being squished down in size, and then also expected cost per market for foreign traders plus 10% makes it a little bit harder for them to trade into your market. And then the opposite of that is free trade. Your trade advantage is better, which means you're further up the list of trading nations, so you get to pick your goods first. Also, your trade efficiency is better. Your market protection is obviously worse because you've got free trade, so you don't mind if your market necessarily gets shut down, because you'll generally have more trade in other markets as well. It won't affect you quite as bad, but if you are trying to keep hold of your own market space, you probably would go mercantilist, and then burger trade capacity plus 100%, because the burgers can trade on top of you. And that might seem bad, but then also taxing them. So any money they make,
when it's in the wrong resolution, it's impossible to see what anything says. Is it and make it so the nations can't take them out of your market that much easier. The next one is belligerent versus conciliatory. A belligerent country is one that doesn't worry about opinion of differences. A conciliatory country appeases others, speaks of being weaker, or believes that it is easier to catch flies with buddies. So basically, we'll be nice with people, and maybe they will willingly do this in the future. And you can see the different values here. So belligerent, if you're trying to do a lot of warfare, your castle balance are great quicker. Your antagonism modifiers are that much better for you. Your war score cost is minus 10%. So you have to do 10% less things to get the same thing as someone who doesn't have a modifier. Your diplomatic reputation obviously minus 5, making it very hard to get alliances, different things, because everyone sees you as being a bit of a bully. And then spy network creation plus 10%, so you can also spy people easier, which gives you more castle allies, all those kind of bonuses as well. And if you are seen as conciliatory, efficiency of our cabinet is better, so that means they're just better at doing the jobs you give them. Loyalty of subjects is plus 10 because they see you as a little bit more of a safe bet to be part of. And then castle ally creation speed minus 33%, so it's a lot slower for you to make those castle allies up. Again, the antagonism is that much worse. You're seen as a conciliatory nation, so if you do some warfare, they're going to see that very badly because you're kind of lying to them about how nice you are in a way. And then also diplomatic reputation plus 5, so it's going to be a lot easier for you to get alliances, marriages, maybe even vassalizations with people. And as it said, you could then use that to expand your realm in a different way if you are trying to be anti-belligerent to some nations. The next one is quantity versus quality. An army which focuses on quality is focused on their needs. Soldier plus better, or an army focused on quantity has with more people to fight their battles. And again, the bonuses you'll see here lean into both of those ideas. Quality, army maintenance is more expensive.
defensive, because your trade is better, your army morale speed is quicker to recover, your military tactics is going up by 0.2.
Your spotlight burns, but your script is weak. Every scene repeats on repeat.
10 a month, but then also your army initiative is 25% better. So you get into warfare, and your side of the battle is going to get into the battle that much quicker, which means they can start doing damage to the other side that much quicker than they can. And then obviously the constant side of it, army maintenance is cheaper because they're not as good, it's cheaper to maintain them. Your possible function though is 25% better, which actually is a pretty good bonus. That might be one reason why you do that. Your army initiative is 25% worse, so you're probably doing the battle later, which means it's taking damage before you even start doing damage to the other side of the battle. And then the last modifier is military consumption, so it's easier to move your army around before they run out of food. And again, these are the maximum bonuses. If you were halfway along quantity, the numbers you would see there are generally half as big as you can see on the screen at the moment. The next societal value is offensive versus defensive, and you can see already we're halfway through these societal values. You can see how certain ones kind of synergize together. If you're defensive but also have a quality army, you're going to be hard to siege down, but then you'll actually have a really good army behind that as well. So maybe you can soak up some damage on the other nation and then attack them kind of counter-attack style. And you can see again for these, a country that's focused on offensive prefers to attack, using their army for neighbours in war enemy locations. Obviously being offensive in war can get into the other nation, while a defensive country lies more in their forts to defeat the enemy. The defenders of countries, say Scotland, you know England is going to be attacking you, maybe you move towards defensive, your fort stand is better, your combat speed is better, your fort limit is 50% better, which is maxed out, and also then those forts are cheaper as well. So then you can kind of turtle up and you can just outlast England if they attack you. And then obviously on the other side of that, you're playing as England, maybe you'll go offensive, your army moves faster, your fort defense is worse, but obviously you're attacking, so that would hopefully prevent the other armies from attacking your land. Your siege ability is better, your assault ability is better as well, and then your antagonism is better as well in your favour. So again, you can see the two different sides of this. Do you want to turtle up and kind of soak up damage, or do you want to get out there and attack different people? Again, this one very subjective as to what you're trying to do in warfare. Do you want to not get into many wars? Do you want to be prepared for them? If they do happen, you'll probably go defensive. If you're trying to expand as much as possible, you're probably going to go offensive. But you could go defensive and then just work around those different bonuses as well. Next is going to be land versus naval. A country focused on land is usually a country without much of a coastline, while a navy-focused country may be one of those that values its coastline more than others. And obviously, as it says, if you're playing someone like Switzerland, why would you go naval? Playing somewhere like France, if you're a decision over which one of these you want to do. So if you're land focused, your RGOs can be better, you get proximity from land is cheaper, which means your proximity spreads further, you get more control over your realm, which ultimately means more money, more manpower, all these different bonuses from those. Your trade range used over land is minus 10%, your trade range over the seas is 50% worse. So again, if you're very landlocked, it doesn't really matter the negatives here, you're probably going to go land focused. Why would you go naval? But if you are naval focused, your maritime presence is better, which means you have more control over the seas. Your proximity cost through maritime is -1, which means you can spread your proximity and control over your coastline. If you have a very coastline focused realm, as it said, this is a fantastic bonus. Trade range that you use over land is plus 50%. Trade range used over the sea is minus 10%. So again, the opposite of land. If you think you're doing a lot of trade over the oceans and seas, you're probably going to pick naval. If you're playing someone like Iceland, why would you choose land? You're going to need those naval bonuses and then expand out using that. And then obviously later on in the game, if you conquer a lot of land and you don't need those bonuses, you can slowly start moving yourself towards land focus and then seeing how that plays out for you as well. Also, sometimes you don't really have as much control over this as you may think, so maybe you get into a bad situation and the different estates, different events kind of push you in one direction. Just embrace that and move into that style of gameplay as well. The next societal value is capital economy versus...
Honestly, it's kind of better it seems like better to just like only play with vassals and no allies, because at least the vassals can't call you into fucking really fucking
those two examples. You can see for capital economy, buildings are cheaper, food production is harder, bank interest is a lot cheaper, and your production efficiency is 20% better. It's all about building buildings, and also maybe even having loans to build more buildings, but those loans are a lot cheaper as well. Whereas if you go traditional economy, buildings are more expensive, but your material output is 20% better, your population capacity is also 25% bigger, and your food production is 20% better as well. So you can focus a realm around just getting things out of the land and then maybe trading those away, and that can be a very good way to play it, especially if you have a lot of land that is generally not that good outside of that. You could then get all the resources out of it, and as I said, trade those away to people, because the other realms are always looking for things like lumber, tin, wheat to feed people, so you could be the person that kind of feeds the other nations, make a lot of money through that, and then maybe have a larger army, something along those lines. So there isn't necessarily a right way to do this. I'm sure there are going to be some meta builds where the perfect combination of societal values gives you the best bonuses. I really like playing through a campaign and seeing where these societal values take, and also maybe moving towards one way or another, depending on how my campaign is playing out. The next one is individualism versus communalism. A country based on individualism may get more exceptional characters, whilst one focus on communalism is all about the greater good of their society. If you want a better army, a better navy, more population migration speed, well in that case you'll go towards individualism. If you think you're going to have problems with rebels, maybe you want to revoke a bunch of estate privileges, or maybe you think you can have problems with your estates, maybe then you'll choose to go towards communalism. The next societal values are outwards versus inwards. Again, this one pairs very nicely with the trading ones, and also the land versus naval societal values. An outward country focuses more on interacting with other countries, while an inward country looks inside its own borders. So maybe if you pick defensive mercantilism, you'd also choose inward. But you could have a different mix-up of these if you did wish to do so. You can see outward cultural tradition is worse, your power projection is +5, antagonism language influence is -50%, diplomatic capacity is +33%, so that would allow you to have more vassals, more alliances, which obviously would aid you in your campaigns. And then the last bonus, monthly colonial migration +100%, so if you're building a lot of colonies, you'll move towards outward. But also
Alright, we're going to build churches all over the place for the unrest. We've had a lot of wars, and our war expansion is high, so I don't want to have a bunch of rebellions, so I think what we're going to do
anyway, and then the opposite of that is inwards. Your crown power is better, your cultural tradition is +50%, so your culture is better than other cultures in the culture side of the game. Your monthly control is 0.5% better, so you have more control over your lands. Your antagonism language influence is +50%, and also your monthly colonial migration is -50%. So as I said, you're all about turtling up again, so maybe you would naturally move towards inwards, defensive ideas, and then kind of see how long you can last and do other things. Maybe you're playing tall, but you want to try to do this kind of gameplay as well.
focus on expanding
and then the last two values I'm going to show you are ones that unlock under special circumstances or at different times in the game. So the first one here is liberalism versus absolutism. This unlocks in a later age of the game. So an absolutist country will focus more on the centralized authority of its ruler while reigning in the power of the different estates, while the liberal country will emphasize the importance of civil liberties and the governing bodies of your realm. You can see liberalism, estate satisfaction equilibrium +5%, culture capacity +20%, so you can have a lot more accepted cultures in your realm. Population rebel threshold +2.5%, and empowerment request support needed -10%. So you generally need 50% to pass something in Parliament. That would change it to only being 40%, which is actually a massive bonus to get. And then the opposite of that, as they said, is absolutism. Revoke privilege cost is -30%, so you can revoke all those privileges to your state, have that much easier. Your crown power is 100% better, which means you can get a lot more tax, manpower, you can have authority over different areas of your realm. Estate satisfaction equilibrium -5%. I actually feel like this should be worse than -5, because you're really saying I am an absolute ruler, I make all the decisions, don't bother me, so I kind of feel like that should actually be a little bit worse in this example. Population join rebels threshold -2.5%, which will make it that little bit harder for people to join rebels, but in this area of the game you are going to have a lot of events around revolutions and what you're trying to do with your realm, so it isn't necessarily that you can pick absolutism, move towards that, and you won't have any problems. You can have a lot of events pushing back against that, and how you can weather those events out. The next two are mysticism versus jurisprudence. This is for Islamic countries in the game, and you can see for mysticism, a country that moves towards this looks for hidden and deeper meaning, while jurisprudence realm focuses more on the literal meaning of the Quran. And you can see the different bonuses this gives. So mysticism, clergy, estate, satisfaction, equilibrium, plus 10%. You'll actually see very different to all the other ones here. That is actually the same bonus on both sides of this. And then again, going back to mysticism, army morale plus 10%, population conversion speed plus 10%, and then jurisprudence, your research progress is 10% better, and the efficiency of your cabinet is 10% better again if you have this maxed out. If it is the dominant societal value out of the two of them, and you can see how you move into different ones of these depending on what you're trying to do in your campaign. And then the last one we're going to take a look at, this is around the Middle Kingdom. So a Sinner-sized country that falls under the influence of the Middle Kingdom as an extension of their jurisdiction, while an unsinner-sized country stands as the proud sovereign of their politics and domain. And you can see that is shown in the modifiers here. So for Sinner-sized, your cultural tradition is that much worse because you're saying, look, the Middle Kingdoms are better than us, so your trade capacity is better, your research is better, the efficiency of your realm is 25% better, and the Middle Kingdom tribute.
I might hop on to Victoria 3 for a bit, guys.
Well.
What do you think?
Was covered in a previous dev
You don't see more EU4 or
but that is basically everyone pays
Vic 3 or CK3? I'm fine with either one, but whatever you want to do is fine. Otherwise, I'll just hop on Vic 3 if no one comments in chat.
Give you more back as that modifier shows. If you're unsinner-sized, if you're saying, look, I don't want to be part of the Middle Kingdom, you can see cultural tradition is 50% better, so your culture is stronger against other cultures in the culture side of the game. Your trade capacity is worse, minus 20%. I guess that's because you're forsaking like the intertwined nature of the Middle Kingdom, which would help you with trading. Your prestige decay is 0.20 better because you're seen more as being a proud sovereign nation. And
well, we'll see what happens with this war first, but otherwise I might.
If you're having problems with stability,
I'm not really rage quit.
If you're doing a lot of warfare, especially early on, where you
like if the campaign's over, the campaign's over, you know, but it's not over until it's all over.
Once you have declared those wars. And with that, that's our look at the societal values in EU5. I think as we've gone through these, hopefully if you watched all the way through, you'll see how these really change how your realms
we still are making a good income though, even at war with some of our territory occupied. Hey, so I think we could be fine.
The actions you do, you can do a cabinet action to try and push your realm in that direction, but it doesn't move you very quickly in that direction. But obviously,
actually, Genoa's coming around here and unseating.
And also, if you're doing other actions in the game, so if you're trying to push yourself towards naval, but then you're also doing a lot of land-focused ideas, it doesn't matter how much you try to push it towards naval, the other actions you take or the events that you have might push you towards land anyway. You might not be able to force it the other direction if you are looking to do so. But anyway, folks, that's my video showcasing the societal value system. As I said, this was sponsored by Paradox, and there will be a pinned comment down below to send you to their website if you are interested in picking up this game through their website. But let me know what you think about this system. Do you think it's an improvement on the previous games? And do you like how it plays out, like how you play the game?
Alright, we're gonna focus on retaking Italy and joining the Empire and like basically conquering all of Italy now that we lost all our overseas provinces.
If you get overthrown, you have a revolution, you are then a republic. That will
actually, we're not doing that bad. We got 3 stability, we got all our capital still, got the 4 guarding the strait, so I think we're fine. And we got a lot of small guys around us so we can take out once the HRA falls apart.
And again, I feel like this gives you a lot more replayability. It's the same country. Maybe you'll play that naval Switzerland and see how well you can do with that. But you can play your realms in so many.
Well, they're already out of the HRA. We're the only one in here.
See which one you prefer.
In that case, we're gonna just recruit up and start sieging these guys down.
Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I covered all the news around EU5 before it was released, and then obviously with the release of the game now, I'm going to be live streaming it and covering all the patch news, the DLC news, everything going forwards. So do subscribe if you want to keep up to date with things. I also do cover Crusader Kings 3 in a very similar manner. So if you enjoy Paradox games, go subscribe and you can see everything coming in the future. But we'll leave it there for today.
This video,
I'll see you all next
time. The guy that we're watching.
Salas 5, a game that lets you play as any country in the world in the year 1337, and for the next 500 years, you can manage your country's economy, diplomacy, warfare, conquest, exploration, colonization, your population, and more. And what are we going to be playing today? Big, fun, and powerful countries like England, France, Spain, Russia.
Here's the video we were watching just last.
No. Today we're going to be playing as the smallest country in the world in the year 1337. We're going to be playing as a country that has only one town located in the middle of Germany in the Holy Roman Empire. We're going to be playing as the free city of Worms. You know, if I don't get diagnosed as insane by the end of this video for this being my second ever EU5 video, I'm actually going to be very sad. So let's jump in as the free city of Worms. Alright, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, as the free city of Worms. This is our only possession in the entire world, dude. Oh my god, why would anyone play these guys? I guess we're about to find out. But yes, we're the 880th most powerful country in the world.
What the fuck is over Navy?
Just under 19,000 people. If you take a look at our country right here, obviously you can see we're running.
I guess Milan is landlocked, so
we're
Serbia.
We are part of the Holy Roman Empire. We are a free city in it, so we will have to deal with these mechanics over here. We're absolutely dead broke. How can we produce anything when the only thing we can produce is wine? Probably literally the most major trade good in all of EU5. We're so small that we can't beat up anyone around us. We can probably only summon like 300 peasants with pitchforks and steel guns to fight for us. This was a mistake.
There's going to be building a lot of churches for the unrest. So I guess probably by the time we get
we actually got some pretty good ones right here, man, but I think this is the most powerful one. Okay, we gotta find a way to make money. So why not become a merchant republic? We actually have some very good modifiers right here for trade maintenance, trade capacity. Sure, we won't really focus on warfare and expansion that much, or at least it'll be slower, but it's okay. More trade income too, and a plus one possible government loans, which pretty much makes this one too. So let's go ahead and start being a merchant republic. Something else we want to go with right here. I mean, if we go with more merchant stuff, tax efficiency is actually very strong for the burgers and Easters. This goes up to a popular as well, so I'm going to get coefficient as well. Okay, regular government reform sorted. Let me see what other privileges I can grant out for our states here. You do obviously gotta be careful because granting privileges does our Republican tradition. Okay, the state privileges granted out. I gave a lot of the burgers obviously. We are gonna need to wait a little bit of time before government reforms are passed. In the meantime, we can go ahead and start researching as well. We definitely want to get on institution growth right here because institutions are about to spawn pretty quickly. But let's go for some max literacy. It's pretty good. Cost of purchasing food, construction speed, maximum RGO size and rural, bid full capacity, and then we got some ones right here. And you want to be careful about these actually with in Germany, especially because when the regulations
we're going to focus on regain our weapons now. We have a lot. Actually, not a lot, but it's pay offable, but then also worth
it's a long ways away, so we're still going to research that anyway, but yeah, in case you want to flip a religion, if you can get that far, you should keep in mind that we will lose these. Okay, why do I have a maritime law? It's because of the river? What river is even this? Is it the Rhine? It's not the Rhine, is it? I think it is the Rhine, right? Or is it the Main? I don't know. Why do we care about this? Shh. Trade range. Sure. Alright, so a month has ticked over. I've signed our cabinet to develop our province right here and encourage migration to Worms, and it seems to be working. We're above 20,000 people. If you're from Germany, you're probably familiar with Worms, obviously. It's actually one of the oldest towns in Europe, man. It predates the Roman Empire and stuff like that. But yeah, we're developing our tiny little province right here. In just a couple of years, when we can call the parliament, we will try and expand into some of our neighbors. Although we do have pretty powerful neighbors such as the Palatinate right here, which is an elector, Mainz as well as an elector, so we could try and get into
Dude, my back is so stiff from sitting this fucking desk. See, this is the thing I forgot, because I normally use my Steam Deck to game,
one of my favorite German
That's a lot more
cities,
chill
yeah,
instead of
we
the
gotta go for
couch.
that. As for the economy, man, we fixed it up a little bit right here. We are making a little bit of money. We'll make even more once we pass these laws right here. And yeah, something we definitely gotta fix is the market right here, because we're not in control of the capital of Cologne or Nuremberg. We are in Cologne, by the way, so we'll most likely want to create our own market in Worms right here, which is costing us about 200 ducats right now. Obviously, we don't have that, so yeah, number one goal should probably be to create our own market so we can trade more. And now that a month has taken over, we're no longer the 880th most powerful country in the world. No, we're the 1,296th big power in the world. Jesus Christ. How many of them are there, man? Am I like one of the 10 weakest countries? Like, now there are actually lots of guys we can ally right here. Who could be helpful for us? Who's looking like big-ish? So I thought I could be a cool guy and secure 2 alliances with Baden and whoever this is, Nassau. But apparently it's horrible if we have 2 allies. So they're kidding. It hasn't been a year and already paying.
Yeah, we're gonna try and retake our trade center first. We're gonna crush this army.
And here I am worrying about the Black Death, dude. Oh my god, where's the diseases map mode, dude? Where's the diseases map mode? Here it is. Yeah. Oh my god, everyone's got freaking smallpox, dude. We actually lost like 3,000 people to smallpox. I love it. I love it. Attention all worm enjoyers. Listen, if you want to get EU5 for yourself, man, check out the link in the description or use code TheRedHawk on Paradox's website. Both the link and the code work on that website. It helps support the channel, and it might be cheaper for you to get EU5 from there rather than Steam, depending on where you're from. It really helps support the channel and would mean the world. So, thank you. Let's get back to worming it up, huh? One thing that's actually good about us being so small and being right on a river and being right in the capital, you know, the capital being right on a river, is we actually have very good control. Obviously, we would if we only have one location, but, you know, at least we'll be able to extract quite a lot of resources from our country if we do end up expanding. Now, Leiningen has secured these 2 assholes that are teaming up against me. Well, however, they don't have ports. Oh my god, we're gonna be so powerful in about
a nice trade ship store.
Alright, we finally fully passed Merchant Republic and Sortition. We can get a 3rd government reform right here, so what should the 3rd one be? Agricultural cultivation for food, I guess. Trade range would be nice. Yeah, we can only take these.
None of these guys are in the HRE anyways.
Yeah, that's not like we're spending
Probably can expand pretty well.
There's only 7 people in our country. And by the way, why we for the problem for expansion is because
because Austria is
CDs on these guys, right?
these bastards. Just hungry, so
can't excommunicate them unless they're excommunicated, right? And we don't really want to, no CD and stuff like that. In fact,
if Austria gets control of these guys too, and that,
the city leagues
Burgundy,
actually, I wonder if
Hungary and Austria,
just like any before, but I guess we'll find out. So we didn't lose prestige, but we gained city league till the end of the game for plus 1% state satisfaction, manpower expected army size, and a trade advantage. Trade advantage is actually very good. So yeah, let's go for it. I wonder if we'll lose it though if we grow. All right, we can finally call the parliament. So obviously we want to do something that's that is already very high. For example, I don't know. Yeah, it's all about the burgers, I guess. Let's go with this. But something we want to do over here, aside from trying to get a CD on London or these guys in my country, I actually also want the cabinet to do some law changes for me, which also requires 50% support. The laws I actually want to change over here, if I show it to you guys, yeah, the first thing I probably want to swap out here is instead of republicanism, we go for meritocratic rule because we're really pumping the burgers here, but also in the distribution of power, I want to favor the ruler. So we get 20% more crown power and we can tax them. So yeah, let's see. The laws can wait. Priority for now should be getting a casus belli. 70% support will last from the time we can see on these guys right here.
see what we can capture here with the ships. Okay, so I went into dock at Urbino. So we're gonna siege Brenna while they siege Urbino. Then we're gonna hop over to
this is one I don't want to do because I don't want
Ancona.
to thingy to the clergy. Let's see, we could randomly get about 50, in which case Alaska to pass the law, but we got a CB, man. We got a CB on these guys, on Katzenillen and Logan and Leiningen. If I go in on them, take this location and this location. I could also take this, but I do go on disconnected. So I want to hold high control. After that, we can bring it to this one. Yeah, there are opportunities. Hopefully levies getting raised. 482.
Can you form Italy and still be a merchant republic? I wonder if that's a thing, because I don't know if that's actually the case, if you can do that, but
I kind of changed my mind.
that's good.
Influence of ones. I don't know what else they're really influential for. I mean, I've used them for fishing, right? But
Next time,
we're
we're
okay, so
the idea.
because we're above water, thingy rate here, we can ask for law changes. Let's do, where is that one? Distribution of power, favor the ruler. Yes. We want, you know, the Republic to really hold all of the power. We're making the burghers think they're holding all the power, but really, we want us to hold all the power. Finally, building our first building, a city guard, which will enable us to recruit a standing army. It's probably just gonna be one dude, and just a guy guarding the little box, you know? The Imperial election. Who got elected? Oh, Austria got elected. Cool. Alright, the Age of Renaissance is here. We're gonna admin focus. Alright, I've hooked up with some other allies, man, and Falkenstein right here is actually willing to help me out versus Katzenillen and Bulgalin. So, I think it's time to start up our first war, ladies and gentlemen. This might be the end of this playthrough, but let's go. Battle of Darmstadt. We actually beat their ass. Very nice. Come on, boys. Come in. Come in. Okay, there's another battle right there. For some reason, I'm winning. I actually don't even know why I'm winning. Maybe my guy is, like, really good. Yeah, I put my ruler in charge. He's, yeah.
I think from now until the time we expand into all of Italy, we're only going to take provinces of Italian culture. So just so we can, like, kind of unify and have an actual region where we're expanding.
This one right here, I think would be South Boys, because 483 guys aren't beating like 1200 or whatever it is. So I'm gonna take Darmstadt. I can take this too, but I don't want it to be disconnected, like I said. So can I take Darmstadt and make Katzenillen and murder my vassal? Yes, in this remaining province, right? Yes. And then I'll also take war reps, they'll accept that, and we're done. Okay, 2 locations! Chicka, yeah. Okay, and these guys are my subject, right? Yes, they are my subject. Perfect, okay? I mean, you know, moving up in the world. Hey, yo, nuclear bomb weapons? Is that where he's from? I mean, we can already embrace professional armies. What about banking? Banking hasn't spread yet that much. How do we get it that quick, though? Oh, look, we got it going around us. Maybe because of a sleep guard or something like that. I mean, it's... Actually, let's get our stability up. I don't want to go below, what you call it? I don't want to go below 0. Yeah, man, moving up in the world. Yeah. 50,000 people, though. We're about to lose half of that when the Black Death is. Now, vacation rings. This is a town. This is...
What the fuck? How do we already get that?
This guy has been married for so long, we can't do any real marriages. I think I should probably marry a lowborn right here because, it will cost us prestige and Republican tradition, but friggin', I gotta ditch the ally, man. It keeps costing me, like, little capacity. Now, I wonder if you can actually declare on other free cities, because if we can take down Frankfurt right here, which is honestly very nice. It's a town as well, quite a lot of people in it, too. But I wonder if the Emperor comes in anyway, right? Obviously, he would come in because no CB. This is gonna be a little tester. We might waste this CB right here, but yeah, let's see if the Emperor comes in, even if we got a dubious claim on the province. Okay, dubious claim acquired. Yeah, Austria does. Oh wait, I haven't selected the CB. Yeah, Austria still comes in. who's the emperor, obviously they'll roll us. Okay, wasted a CB on that, but yeah, okay, at least we know how it works now. I guess we can, I don't mind doing some tax exemption to pass the other law. Now, I want to swap to meritocratic rule. This right here. Okay, there it is, the Black Death has come. Now, obviously, we got a little time before it spreads to us, but yeah, we're going to be losing a lot of people. I was actually hoping to build a hospital before that, man, but we just don't got the money to do it, you know? Okay, but where is work? It's right there. 150, yeah. We'll see if we can build out before that, but until then, we want to put the remedies and give us other good stuff, not that it helps too much. We'll see what we do. We're so super happy, so we should be able to isolate cities and not get the forums hit as much, although Darmstadt is probably going to get destroyed. You're kidding me, I get hit with the measles before the Black Death comes. Alright, the Black Death has come to us. I can't isolate the cities or things. Alright, we're going to try to isolate the cities. Okay, I'm also going to present scapegoats. That's just going to give us stability and stuff like that. I don't want to isolate the country. I don't want to isolate the country. You can move the fort into hiding, though. That is something I want to do. Okay, let's wait for it to spread and then isolate the cities, I guess. Yeah, it's spreading pretty fast. Actually, how long is 40 stability to break it? I mean, I guess our people are going to have to die. Let's sacrifice them. Well, what is it with everyone getting sick right here, man? Is that, you know, is that 14th century diet, I guess? Ah, god damn it. Okay, Black Death's mostly passed. It might get us again, it depends, but yeah, we lost a good amount, man. We lost a good amount. We were up to 52k, down to 30k. Obviously, 4 of them for the economy. Alright, I got a game plan here. I fabricated a CD online unit. I go ahead and confirm them. They bring in Falkenstein. I raise levies, go and siege down Falkenstein right here, and knock them out, and then turn back while these guys are still sieging me. Piece them out, shoot their ass, take the product. Okay, wait for my garrison to fill up, but it's not that. Okay, I actually went the other way around because they only raised 200 levies, and it was too, you know, risky not to get it. And look what my subject is doing, man. Cancellio invaded, it's sieging stuff. Yo, we're actually so good at the game, bro. I don't even see the ass here. Can I take all of these provinces? Yes, I can. Okay, I decided to start taking disconnected provinces too, even though it's not really that good, because vassalizing someone, like for example, if we vassalize the rest of these guys, it just takes up too much people because they like I can reach the end and can't really handle them. But yeah, taking all these provinces, provinces and a couple of organic provinces, dude. We've actually expanded 600%. That's like if we start off with France and
I think the concept of a meta in EU4 or EU5 is just like too it's too linear, because the game it's not, the game is basically like literally never the same, so how can it have a meta, you know what I mean?
Goofy and wacky and kooky and zany countries and goals like this. And of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to stay up to date with when Europa Universalis 5 videos drop. Do it, or else no more worms. That's right. Anywhere in the world, no more worms. Just those centipedes, which, let's be real, they're similar, but they're kind of quick and fast, or millipedes, I don't know. Which one were the scarier ones again? First expansion? Not even that bad, bro. Not even that bad. All the electros are around us, that's the problem. Look how they're snaking in around the electros. The light blue guys and you know, this blue guy are the electors. This electors, the Archbishop electors, the 23 Imperial Free Cities. There was 26 at the start. One Primus Germinae, which is mine. I don't even know what the hell that is. It says it right here. Not even gonna read it. 34 Imperial Fleets and just regular currencies as a Republic of Region. Something we currently spend a little bit of money on is roads. So let's build a road. And nowhere. Because it's too expensive. God damn it. Oh, like the game just started expanding farms. Well, let's not expand farms. Let's instead save up money for the road. This dude said, I'm sick, I must die, and then he died. Oh my god.
Why not? Let's try it.
Honestly, man, yeah, that's all for honest deathbed, dude. I'm sick, I must die. Solo, dude. It's such a good opportunity. It's like a tiny little village, I'm guessing, but yeah, that's. Alright, so we can vote for a golden bull.
We'll watch something else. YouTube's being a freaking troll about the.
They say youth is wasted on the young, but is there an optimal way to spend your youth? Is it possible to waste your 20s and 30s? Yeah, I think it is possible, but it's also subjective as to what we regard as a waste. Someone in their middle age may wish they'd travelled more, saved more money, started a business, chased a dream. Most of us don't want to waste our 20s and 30s. After all, these decades should be when we have the most energy. Even if you spend your youth being apathetic to life generally, your choices may still cause regret in middle age. So what's the best path to try and avoid regret? Well, this is what I regard as wasted youth. Putting zero effort into anything productive, being consistently lazy. We likely have energy, so we need to use it in some form. If you're 35 years old with nothing in the bank, but you've travelled extensively or attempted a business, chased a dream, have you wasted your youth? I don't think so, but you always have to see the potential downsides to the choices you make. You're not a loser or a failure because you don't have £10,000 in the bank, but your attitude will determine whether you're a loser. If you return home from a long-term travel and learn about your bank balance, or you're bitter towards your friends, then that's on you. Your friend may be flying high in their career and have a house, you don't. It's also possible that your friend may envy you. The fact that you've travelled, because it's easy to envy something you don't have or something you've never experienced. So how do we decide what to do in the first place? What's the best use of our time when we are young? Well, none of us can predict the future. We just have to try our best with whatever we do this year. Do our research and have somewhat of a plan. Or if we don't have a plan, then we're meant to be prepared to deal with whatever comes our way. To some degree, we have to listen to our gut. If it's pulling us strongly towards a certain direction, we probably shouldn't ignore it. But we always have to take responsibility. That is the thing. Now, if you're saying, oh, well, my gut is telling me to just chill, play video games, and stay at my parents' house rent-free for as long as possible, well, I think you're in the minority there, because most people who are in that situation, knowing their gut, that's not a path to a healthy future, but they're simply just procrastinating and being lazy. That is wasting youth life, just sitting slackly, trying to squander others, no real plan. Maybe there is something you actually want to do, but you're too scared to try. That's also a waste in my eyes. I don't think there's anything wrong with the comfort zone. I don't believe we have to constantly seek discomfort. But there are different types of comfort. Some comfort zones are just self-sabotage zones. There are times when we do need to get uncomfortable in order to create a better life. If you're comfortable eating nachos every night because you're 5 stone overweight, then you need to now be comfortable. If you're 35, play video games at your mum's house with no prospects, no money, then you need some help. If you've always wanted to play guitar and just sat in the corner, but it feels too difficult to even try, you need to at least try and get out of your comfort zone. Or you run the risk of having regrets later on in your middle age. You see it quite a lot on social media. People will suddenly wake up at 30, 35 and be like, damn, I can't keep this up. So yeah, it's good that they realise that something has to change, but that wake-up call doesn't need to occur at age 35, does it? I just want to reference a video I saw recently. I'm sure many of you will have seen it given it's had over 500,000 views.
I am a 35-year-old loser. And there's no getting around that fact. I spent all of my 20s and half of my 30s so far just got drunk. I never took the time to really invest in my future. My finances, skill sets, knowledge bases, all that. Not that I have no knowledge or skills, but none of it's very marketable.
Now, is this guy a loser? Has he wasted his youth? Well, my view is he seemed nice, likeable, articulate. He's still wet.
Oh, dude.
It's hard to call him a loser.
I'm exhausted.
Has he wasted some of his youth?
My back is sore and I'm gonna go to bed. I don't really, I don't know. I keep having issues with like the live feed catching like videos that are copywritten. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna hop off. I don't really think it's copywritten issues. I think what it is it's things with like the music. So I don't think it's the videos, I think it's the music, so yeah. Anyways, guys, next time we're not going to have music in the background, but we will be watching YouTube and still, all that, so yeah. I'm looking forward to when it launches in a couple days. I'm looking forward to that, so yeah. Anyways, do that. Save the game in case we do want to come back to it, but...
What's productive? Are video games productive? Well, you may put a lot of effort into video games. If you have that, you have no interest in travel, starting a business, that's fine. But there comes a point when you need to be playing those games while making your own money, having your own independence, building your own life. Most of us would argue that playing video games when you're unemployed or broke isn't really productive. Yes, I know
you that mate, shut up.
Those people are in the minority. Let me be clear here. I'm not criticising anyone who lives with their parents until their 30s.